the final time this season. The Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Bucks suit up ultimate defenders Derek Brooks, John Lynch, and Simeon Rice. The NFC gets their groove on offense from Giants Rookie of the Year Jeremy Shockey. Leading the way for the AFC is Miami's Ricky Williams, Colts record-setting wide receiver Marvin Harrison, and from the Oakland Raiders, league MVP Rich Gannon, and all-time great Jerry Rice. They move fast and hit hard, and if you don't book them now, you can't for 7 more months. It's the AFC-NFC Pro Bowl, live from Hawaii.
In August, we began our 33rd season of Monday Night Football at the Hall of Fame game in Canton, Ohio. Temperature was in the low 80s, and now 6 months later, it's still in the low 80s as we come 5,000 miles southwest to Aloha Stadium in Honolulu for the annual AFC-NFC Pro Bowl game. I'm Al Michaels. Welcome to Honolulu, and very often this game presages a changing of the guard. I think back between the mid-'80s and mid-'90s, the Tampa Bay Bucks sent only 3 individuals over an 11-year period to the Pro Bowl. Then 5 years ago, they broke out with 8 players who came to the Pro Bowl. Several of them are still here. 6 are in uniform today, and of course we all know the result. The Buccaneers last Sunday in San Diego winning their first ever Super Bowl. We should have a lot of fun today, a lot of stories to talk about. We have tremendous access. We'll have interviews with the players, the Hall of Famers as well, and our mic'd up feature. Several guys are mic'd up, so let's start with this. Listen.
Here we go, here we go, here we go! Don't break my hand. Shit, vacation about to start in 3 hours. 1, 2, 3.
FedEx Ground salutes the AFC and NFC rushing champions, the Dolphins' Ricky Williams and the Saints' Deuce McAllister. They always turn it into a pageant here in Honolulu as we get set for the kickoff of the Pro Bowl. Announces his third, came over via backstroke.
No, Al, you know I love to fly. And I love the Pro Bowl. And thanks to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we learned that defense still wins championships. And we've got 2 of their best defenders here today in Hawaii. Derek Brooks makes his 5th Pro Bowl appearance to match the number of touchdowns he scored this season, including a 44-yard interception return. And John Lynch, one of the hardest hitters in the game. But Al, this is an all-star game, and offenses rule all-star games. And that brings us to Rich Gannon, the league's MVP. All he did this year was string together 10 300-yard games en route to 4,600 yards in, of course, last week's Super Bowl. And what can you say about this man, Jerry Rice? All he does is continue to play at the highest level imaginable in his 18th season and his 13th Pro Bowl selection.
Jerry Rice at the age of 40. Rich Gannon only knows how to play one way. It doesn't matter whether it's a regular season game or a postseason game or the Pro Bowl, because Gannon has been the MVP of this game, or the player of the game, in each of the last 2 seasons. We'll see if he can make it 3. The AFC will be kicking off to the NFC. As for the 24th time they play this game here, the first game here was in 1980, and in that game, as Michael Lewis is back to receive of the New Orleans Saints, in that game Archie Manning played for the NFC, and today, of course, we'll see Peyton Manning at quarterback for the AFC. He is second behind Gannon in the rotation.
And part of the reason Gannon has been able to take away 2 Player of the Game awards is he got off to a quick start in each game, and he would probably play the first quarter, a little bit into the second quarter, and then give way to his backup quarterbacks. Pretty good backups, too.
32 AFC, NFC Pro Bowls since the merger, and they're all even, each conference winning 16. So we'll break that tie today, and here we go. 81 degrees in Honolulu as the kick floats down into the arms of Michael Lewis from the 8. And the former beer truck driver brings it out to the 28-yard line. And let's take a look at the NFC starting 11.
Of course, the San Francisco 49ers.
Deuce McAllister, New Orleans Saints.
Mike Allstott, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Terrell Owens, San Francisco 49ers.
Joe Horn, New Orleans Saints.
Bubba Franks, Green Bay Packers.
Trey Thomas, Philadelphia Eagles.
Jermaine Mayberry, Philadelphia Eagles.
Olin Kreutz, Chicago Bears.
Ron Stone, San Francisco 49ers.
Chris Samuels, Washington Redskins.
And the NFC coached by the Philadelphia coaching staff. That means Andy Reid is the head coach. And Garcia on first down throws, and that's incomplete. It was deflected by Zach Thomas. Let's take a look at the AFC defense.
Trevor Price, Denver Broncos.
Gary Walker, Houston Texans.
Richard Seymour, New England Patriots. Jason Taylor, Miami Dolphins.
Peter Bowen, Baltimore Ravens.
Zach Thomas, Miami Dolphins.
Joey Porter, Pittsburgh Steelers.
Aaron Glenn, Houston Texans.
Lawyer Malloy, New England Patriots.
Rod Woodson, Oakland Raiders. Ty Law, New England Patriots.
First-year Texans with two starters defensively. Here's Garcia, as he so often does, as a 49er, and he finds his teammate, Terrell Owens, up to the 48-yard line. So Garcia sliding. We've seen him do that 1,000 times and finds Owens, and we've seen him do that hundreds of times.
Yeah, it's great awareness of what is around him as Garcia goes back to pass. He's going to get a lot of pressure this afternoon. All the quarterbacks are. But he's always got his head upfield thinking about number 81. And he finds him right in the middle of the AFC defense.
First down of the game from the 47 now. Game's first possession. Garcia throws, and it is picked off. It was juggled, picked off by Jason Taylor of the Dolphins. And the AFC is at the NFC 31-yard line after the interception.
Jason Taylor read the three-step drop of Garcia, did not bother to come on the pass rush, and just used his extraordinary athletic ability. Watch. He just stands there, jumps up in the air, knocks the ball to himself, and takes the ball down the field. At 6'6" and 260 pounds, probably the best athlete playing defensive line in the NFL. Smart play.
Takes home his own souvenir. Playing in this game for the second time, and the AFC now at the 31-yard line, and Gannon hands the ball off to Ricky Williams, the NFL rushing champion. He is thrust out of bounds after he picks up a first down by Champ Bailey all the way to the 13-yard line, 18-yard gallop.
AFC comes out with a draw play, first play of the game, smart play. NFC thinking that they were going to go for the bomb. Gannon brings it back to Williams. Look at the whole left side. Faneca, Ogden doing a great job, and Ricky's all the way down to the 12-yard line.
The Dolphins spent 2 decades looking for a running game, and then in one fell swoop, the trade with New Orleans, in came Ricky to change the face of the team. From the 12-yard line now. Gannon out here throws, caught Jerry Rice to the 3, and you'll see duplicate numbers. For instance, Eric Moulds of the Buffalo Bills wears 80. They wear the same numbers they wear for their regular teams, and of course their own helmets.
But even if Jerry Rice weren't wearing a uniform, I think we could pick him out. Number 80, as you said, Al. Just an incredible player, and he's really building an argument as the greatest player in the history of the league. His numbers are incredible. His longevity, his spirit for the game, unmatched.
For my money, that case is closed, no matter what he does from here on in. Second and 1, and it's Williams straight ahead, and he takes it to the 1-yard line, where it'll be first down and goal. 2:15 into the game. Some rules changes are in effect for this game. They have really simplified it. No motion or shifting. On offense, you have to have a tight end. You can only have 2 receivers to one side, so you can't bunch them. Standard 4-3 defense. And you cannot blitz. That's the key thing. No blitzing linebackers except in short yardage situations.
And down here, the defense can play bump and run.
First and goal. And it is Williams who vaults into the end zone for a touchdown. The Jason Taylor pick, and then the Williams touchdown, so it's been an all-Miami Pro Bowl for the first 2 minutes and 45 seconds.
He got into the end zone 16 times during the regular season. This has to be the easiest for him. He wanted to go airborne, but found no resistance and gained his balance and went in easily.
The visor reflecting, and then Vinatieri puts it through, and so the turnover leads to an AFC touchdown. And with 12:15 left in the opening quarter in Honolulu, the AFC on top, 7-0. Pizza Hut, home of the new stuffed crust gold pizza. Is that a dinghy, Dan?
That'd be a catamaran.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I think.
Sail those off the Oregon coast?
That's the minnow off the Oregon coast.
Vinatieri kicks off for the AFC. 7-yard line. It's Michael Lewis. Past the 20 and the 30, and Lewis with a great run back into AFC territory and all the way down to the 46-yard line. Tackled by Pittsburgh's Hines Ward. And let's check in with Lynn Swan. Swanee?
As a wide receiver, it's always a pleasure to talk to Jerry Rice. Jerry, at age 40, Alan Dan was talking about you still play this game at the highest level.
Yeah, you have to do that. You know, even though it's this is a Pro Bowl, you got to look at it as a regular football game. Whenever you put this uniform on, you got to come out here. You got to take pride in what you do. So I'm having a great time. I'm still like a little kid, so I enjoy the preparation, and it pays off for me.
I got to ask you. We talked about this a little bit in the locker room. Is there a reason why Jerry Rice will not be in the uniform next year?
Yeah, we didn't win the Super Bowl. That's the reason why. No, you know what? If we had won the Super Bowl, I would have just pretty much, I would have sat back and assessed everything, and that would have been the ideal way to go out. But there's still a lot of football in me, and I think we have a team that, that's going to bounce back next year, and we're going to have the opportunity.
You've had a week to think about the Super Bowl, that performance. How do you put that in perspective?
It's hard.
You didn't win.
You can't. It's something that's going to stay in my gut for the rest of my life. And whenever you get to a game of that magnitude, and you work so hard to get there, then they end up losing it. It really hurts, but you have to show good sportsmanship, and I give credit to Tampa Bay.
Take a look at these numbers, Jerry. These are your playoff numbers. 28 games, that's a record. 22 touchdowns, that's a record. 151 catches, over 2,000 yards. That's almost my career.
That's unbelievable. Hey, Lynn, that's really amazing. I think it has a lot to do with the cast I have had around me over the years. And, we go out, we play the game the way the game should be played. And I give credit where credit is due,
Well, all the players are trading helmets. And everybody wants your helmet. Who are you trading yours with?
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. And, the guys have told me this. If you put your helmet down, you put your jersey, you put anything down, you're not going to see it. So, I'm not.
It's a sign of love and respect,
yeah,
Jerry.
I'm not sure right now, but, we have a good group of guys in there. And I think those guys are really excited to see me back here in the Pro Bowl.
They are. Thank you, Jerry.
Anytime.
All right, thank you, Lynn. We're all excited to see Jerry in the Pro Bowl, and it's good from what he said. I surmise he's going to play next season. And there, of course, is Rod Woodson at the age of 37. You watch McAllister run twice for a first down, and Garcia threw it away. And now a little toss back to Marshall Faulk. And Marshall with an up-and-down injury-plagued season. Go back to McAllister for a moment, who had those two runs. They were watching Deuce McAllister as their primary running back, and the interesting thing about him is with Deuce coming on as a Saint, that enabled the Saints to trade Williams to Miami, and they both wind up in this game.
And very rare is it that a situation like that works out so well for both teams. McAllister, 6th leading rusher in the NFL. Of course, Ricky's 1,800 yards led it going away.
3rd down and 6 now from the 28-yard line. And Garcia dumping it off underneath, and then Marshall loses his footing, and Faulk is taken down. And it will be 4th down at about the 28-yard line, 4th and 6.
Out getting back to Jerry Rice and listening to talk about having fun, it almost reminds me of Ernie Banks. If he could, Jerry Rice would like to play 2 games today.
There's no question, and I like the way Lynn put it to him. Is there anything that wouldn't bring him back? And he started talking about the unfulfilled situation with losing that Super Bowl, not the way he would want to go out. And he was playing at the highest level at the end of the season, so he should be back next year as David Akers of the Philadelphia Eagles attempts a 45-yard field goal. And Akers, one of 10 Eagles in the game, puts it through with 9:16 remaining in the opening quarter. So each team on the board with the AFC on top 7-3 at the Pro Bowl. doubleheader. 2 weeks from today, the NBA on Sundays on ABC. Peyton Manning, Marvin Harrison, and what a year they had collectively. Harrison setting an NFL mark with 143 receptions. And back to receive is Dante Hall, the electrifying run-back specialist for the Kansas City Chiefs, who takes a one-hopper from Akers at the 4. And Hall cuts it back upfield and then gets taken down from behind at the 28-yard line as we take a look at the AFC offense.
Rich Gannon, Oakland Raiders.
Ricky Williams, Miami Dolphins.
Lorenzo Neal, Cincinnati Bengals.
Jerry Rice, Oakland Raiders.
Marvin Harrison, Indianapolis Colts.
Tony Gonzalez, KC Chiefs.
Jonathan Ogden, Baltimore Ravens.
Alan Faneca, Pittsburgh Steelers. Kevin Mawai, New York Jets.
Will Shields, Kansas City Chiefs. Willie Roaf, Kansas City Chiefs.
Interesting, the Chiefs with 3 guys up front, with the 2 linemen and then the tight end Gonzalez. And that pass is dropped by the aforementioned Gonzalez, but they're missing Priest Holmes, missing the game because of an injury. Let's take a look at the defense.
Michael Strahan, New York Giants.
Brian Young, San Francisco 49ers. Leroy Glover, Dallas Cowboys.
Simeon Rice, the Buccaneer.
Derek Brooks, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Brian Urlacher, Chicago Bears.
LeVar Arrington, Washington Redskins. Troy Vincent, Philadelphia Eagles.
John Lynch, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Brian Dawkins, Philadelphia Eagles. Champ Bailey, Washington Redskins.
I think we got LeVar out of bed to do that. Todd Heap with the ball up to the 39-yard line, close to a first.
And one thing we'll see from the AFC and the NFC is they'll put their tight ends out. When you have talent like Gonzalez and Heap, even in an all-star game, Pro Bowl game, they're looking for mismatches. And if you can get your tight end out on a strong safety, even one as good as John Lynch, offenses feel that that's to their advantage.
At the 40, first down, 8.5 to go in the opening frame. Williams, rookie with some tough running to the 47, and let's check in with Melissa Stark. Hi, Melissa.
Hi, Al. I'm joined by Brad Johnson, the quarterback for the Super Bowl champion Buccaneers. Now, tell me what it was like to go back to Tampa Monday night for that celebration in the stadium and then the parade on Tuesday.
I didn't make it back Monday night, but I made it back Tuesday. And after the game, it was kind of a surreal feeling. You know that you finally had won the Super Bowl, but when I got home and I saw 100,000 people, the parade just went on and on. That's when it really sunk into me that how special this really was and how much it meant to the organization, to the Tampa Bay fans. It's an incredible feeling.
You were a 9th-round draft choice in 1992. You didn't play your first 2 years in the league. You go from Minnesota to Washington to Tampa. Do you think you have a little bit different perspective because of that journey in winning your Super Bowl?
It definitely is a journey, and we've all had different routes to get here. And mine, like you say, just finally getting there. You always think it's the other guy. You always think it's the other team. But, finally we're that team, I'm that guy, and it's short-lived. And you start from ground zero, getting ready for next year. But for one moment to say you're the best in the world, it's an incredible feeling.
Of course, this was John Gruden's first year in Tampa. What difference did he make on your performance specifically?
John's just awesome to be around. His attitude's contagious. I think just being decisive with the ball, knowing the system inside out, and just letting guys make plays for you and do it consistently. And I think that's what we were able to accomplish this year.
Brad, congratulations. Al, this is his first Pro Bowl. He said it's like the icing on the cake.
It sure is. And those guys all over the Bucs who were in San Diego and then had to fly across the country to Tampa and then fly back here. I mean, they're still going on adrenaline right now, no doubt.
And they're still high as a kite, and they should be. John Lynch, 10-year veteran, been to the Pro Bowl a number of times, but I think that Super Bowl title means more to him than anything.
Helping over to you left.
Second down and 7 from the 32-yard line, and Gannon's going to take a timeout. 6.5 remaining in the opening quarter at the Pro Bowl, where the AFC is on top, 7-3. You're live inside the huddle right now, right out in the middle of the field.
Always look at the quarterback, who he's talking to, give you an idea of who the play might be called for. Gannon looking at Jerry Rice a lot, which is not a bad idea.
Gannon just took a timeout, so it's second down and 7 now for the AFC at the 32-yard line. 21. That's a first, and let's check in with Swanee.
Thank you very much, Alan. With Hank Stram going into the Hall of Fame, congratulations, Coach. After 17 years in coaching, 3 AFC championships, would you say Super Bowl IV was the most important victory of your career?
Well, it had to be, Len. That's, the competition in the league has always been very, very keen. And to be able to be in that position and win a Super Bowl game like we did, it's a great compliment to my players and the coaches, and all of whom did such a great job. And I owe it all a lot to Lamar Hunt, who provided me with the opportunity to be his coach for 14 years.
Coach, one of the things I saw is that you were also a great innovator. The 2 tight end formation, the moving pockets, will that be a strong part of your legacy?
Well, at that time, Len, when we first initiated our position in the American Football League, the National Football League, everybody was doing the same thing. Everybody used a man-for-man coverage. Everybody used, two formations. They used a 4-3 defense, and that was the personality of the league. And so, as a result, we felt we had to deviate from that style and do something different, which we did. And we had a great football team. Our quarterback, Lenny Dawson, and all the great players who played for us, made a big difference.
Well, Coach, the AFC continues to move well as they just scored another touchdown. Thank you very much, and congratulations.
Thanks very much, Len. I always enjoyed watching you play. Thank you.
And Dan, as we take a look at the replay, it's appropriate interviewing Stram, and who catches the touchdown pass? A Chief, Gonzalez.
But it's not Morris Stroud, is it? It's Tony Gonzalez. And key to that, of course, is Gannon's mobility, buying the time to get Gonzalez in the back of the end zone.
And Vinatieri adds the extra point. So the AFC off to a hot start, as was the case last year, and it's 14-3. Whaling season. Whale watching in vogue. Back here, a couple of blubbering fools at Aloha Stadium.
A humpback whale. All the way from Alaska.
That's right. -3 in Fairbanks today.
Smart whale.
Yes. Vinatieri's third kickoff is fielded by the Saints' Michael Lewis. Tries to reverse direction, runs into his own man, cuts to the outside, then it gets a block, and down the sideline he goes. And Lewis gets past midfield and then stumbles to a stop at about the 37-yard line. And it's not uncommon to see runbacks like that in this game because you have a mishmash of people on special teams, as we check in with Melissa.
I'm with Eagles offensive coordinator Brad Childress, who was calling in the play to Jeff Garcia.
324 Thunder. Red right, open. Just open him 2 yards. It's off the side.
So, Brad, what should we expect on this play?
Well, he's got his pick of the softest corner here that he wants to work, and he's going to just throw a little hitch route out here.
All right.
So Garcia's looking at the corner there and seeing how much room he has down on this side.
And Garcia's going to look right under pressure, and then he throws underneath. Intended for Mike Wallstatt. Go back to Melissa again.
Regular. Green left slot, Fox 2 weak, X dagger. Fox 2 weak, X dagger, green left slot.
Translation?
An 18-yard in right by the X by Donald Driver right there. And Marty Booker's going to clear it out for him here. Play fake to Deuce McAllister.
There's the fake to Deuce. Garcia under pressure. He has to settle underneath. So he goes back to Deuce. There was nothing happening downfield for him. Had to check off. Melissa.
All right, here we go again.
That's all right. Tiger. West right slot, fake 95 weak, naked right U corner.
All right, Brad, what should we expect on this one?
We got a naked play coming out to Shockey and Bubba Franks with the option for Garcia to run. Fake and run left here.
Got to put it on 7-second delay.
Trying to get away from that pass rush with a bootleg here.
3rd and 1. And it is tipped and intercepted by Zach Thomas. So that's the second AFC interception, each by a Dolphin. One by Taylor, this one off the hands of the Packers' Bubba Franks, and picked off by the middle linebacker of Miami. Another turnover. We'll see if the AFC can capitalize again. They're already up by 11.
Offensive coordinator Mike Heimerdinger on the sideline. Coach, what do you got going on this series?
All right, we're going to try to get Todd Heap out here because Dawkins squatted on him so bad last time. So we're hoping to get Todd to run by on a go route. And we got 2 option routes inside. We got Sharper, so we'll have to see what happens.
But first we have a penalty.
Expect the procedure, but we'll do it.
Bill Levy is the referee.
Prior to the snap, false start. Number 72 offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Lincoln Kennedy.
Again, it's one of the situations where you've got great athletes at your tight end position. Todd Heap can really run. And they feel that they can get the ball deep on Darren Sharper.
First and 15. Jeff Fisher. It's his staff that coaches the AFC team. As Gannon releases deep, and that's incomplete. And there was that pass intended for Todd Heap. Swanee?
We're still in it. Go ahead, Coach.
Okay. We'll stay ace here. Let's go spear left, okay? 51 Frisco, X and Z comeback. Spear left, 51 Frisco, X and Z comeback.
What are you trying to get done on this play?
Okay, we're trying to get the 2 seams on the 3 deep, and if we don't get the seams, then we got 2 comebacks by Hines and Eric on the outside. So we're trying to get them to, we're trying to get the big play down the middle here to Tony or Todd.
Got enough lines there, Al?
Think so. Jackson Pollock, second down and 15. And that pass is thrown to the outside and incomplete. That's Hines Ward of the Steelers. And let's see what Mike Heimerdinger has going here on 3rd and long.
Hey, Rich, here comes Posse, okay? Here comes Posse. Posse. Same play. Same play. Posse. Spear left!
Just changing the personnel, get a couple running backs in the game, trying to hit the ball down the seam. You can only play 1 deep safety, so there are gaps in this zone defense. Right in here and right in here, they'll try to get somebody down there because there's only 1 deep defender for the NFC.
First time the AFC has had a 3rd down play in the game, and Gannon's going to go deep, but there's some miscommunication that time because Moles was breaking off the pattern. Rich threw it over his head, and it's a 3 and out for the AFC.
Yeah, I got a feeling that the coaches may not want to see Melissa and Lynn again and call the plays for us. That's 6 bad plays, 3 for each team. But great access. We had access.
It's almost as if the defense is listening into the telecast.
Oh, you think they got a monitor watching me draw all these crazy lines?
I don't think so. No rabbit ears down there. Michael Lewis back to receive Chris Hansen's punt. And Jaguar Pickard sends it into the arms of Lewis, who fair catches it at the 33. Another guy we have mic'd up is Jeff Garcia.
Got a screen. West right slot. 2J, you drive. Halfback screen right on 1.
So then you came out of it, you gave the ball to Marshall, he kind of ran a little ET stunt.
Yeah.
And one thing Jeff wants to do in that screen is to drop back and suck the defense towards him before he gives the ball off to the halfback.
And Garcia still in from the 34-yard line. Under pressure, and down he goes. The initial pressure put on by Trevor Price, and then John Abraham came in to knock him down.
10 sacks in the regular season for John Abraham. Coming from the left side here. Initial push up the front by number 93. That's Kevin Carter. And Garcia is running for his life, as he has done much of this first quarter.
Exactly right. It's Carter. I mentioned those double numbers. So they actually have 3 93s in here, as if 2 weren't enough. You've got Carter, Richard Seymour of New England, and Trevor Price of Denver. Apart from that, no problem. Second down and 18. Incomplete. Intended for Marshall Faulk.
And then when we go over to the NFC, when they're on defense, we got 3 number 97. So you have no break today, Albino.
Not a problem. This is like, I mean, even in Canton, when you dress like 6 million guys, you only have 2 numbers. One guy, would wear 93. Another guy would wear 93. here, and they changed it a few years ago. Actually, it's a pretty good idea. It used to be, for instance, if Jerry Rice would come over, he would get 80, but then Moulds would have to wear something else. But they said a few years ago, the heck with it.
Well, they do have names on the back of their jerseys, and they get to wear their own helmets, so not too hard.
Third down at 18. And down he goes, and that time it's John Abraham. So Abraham with 2 big plays on that series as the Jet linebacker gets the sack.
John Abraham just blows by big John Runyon with all speed. Here he is right here. Watch him dip that right shoulder and gets underneath big, tall John Runyon at 6'7" for his second sack on this series alone.
NFC doing next to nothing offensively. Period winding down, only 31 net yards for the National Conference. Todd Sauerbrunn booms one to Hall. And the Kansas City Chiefs brings it back from the 31 out to the 37-yard line. 2:12 left in the period. Everybody talking about the Bucs defense. Take a look at it during the regular season. The opposition quarterbacks collectively a rating of 48.4, and that's what they did in postseason. The opposition in 3 games, 2 touchdowns, 9 interceptions.
And 4 TDs in the postseason. Incredible, 3 in the Super Bowl just last week.
Derek Brooks, 3 run-backs of picks during the regular season. Cemented the Super Bowl last year with a run-back off Gannon. Here is Gannon throwing to LaDainian Tomlinson. San Diego Charger up to the 43-yard line. Back to last week we go, Dan.
Well, they showed the Raiders just how offensive they could be as they returned a Super Bowl record 3 interceptions for scores. Dwight Smith picked off Rich Gannon in the third quarter, ran it back from 44. And then late in the game, Derek Brooks went 44. And then how about Smith again from 50 yards out with just 2 seconds left to make the score 48-21.
Meanwhile, back here, Tomlinson fumbled, and there was no whistle. And so the AFC coughs it up, and the NFC is going to take over in AFC territory. Here's another look.
And there will be no review. We don't have that equipment over here. Hit by John Lynch. Who else? But it took forever for somebody to get on top of that ball and for the refs to decide who got it.
And as you say, there's no replay. There are no challenges. There's nothing. It's like the old days where the officials would make the call. Tomlinson doesn't like the call, but the NFC winds up with the football at the 42-yard line. And now they run it with Marty Booker of Chicago looking for room and then taken down as Jason Taylor stays right with him for no gain. Bears went so many years, Dan, without a wide receiver. We used to talk about, Dick Gordon being the last guy, and they finally get a wide receiver and a good one into the Pro Bowl.
Had a great year last year with 97 catches, which was 6th best in the NFL. But nothing on that reverse as a couple of Dolphins teamed up on that. Sam Madison and Jason Taylor stuffed them.
2nd and 10 at the 42-yard line. Garcia throws, and it's pulled in by Falk, and Marshall again begins to lose his footing at the 35-yard line, about 3 yards shy of a first.
Of course, we're playing on AstroTurf here. Last game for the AstroTurf here in Aloha Stadium as they'll replace it with field turf in the offseason. I'm sure that Marshall Falk will welcome that, as will all NFL players and UH players.
For years they played this game in Los Angeles when it started out, and then they moved it around. They made it a movable feast, played it in places like Tampa, Kansas City, and then a permanent home here was found in 1980. 3rd down and 3. Garcia throws, and it's juggled and incomplete, intended for the Packers' Donald Driver, who had a breakout season.
Garcia's just not having any time to really set his feet and look deep down the field. He hits that back step, that 5th step. He's coming forward, and he's got to get rid of it because of the pressure from the AFC defensive line is so good. Throws that ball behind Driver. Another incomplete for Jeff Garcia.
Garcia is now 4 of his first 11 to 36. Sauerbrunn, whose first punt was a 67-yarder. This time we'll look to pooch it. We'll float it. And delay of game is the call. The question is, do they want to accept it?
Offense, penalty is declined. 4th down.
It's just a ruse to try to get the receiving team to give the kicking team a little bit more space, and they said no thank you. Andy Reid coaching in this game for the 2nd straight year. It's such a bittersweet thing to coach in this game, because the sweet part is you get a free vacation to Hawaii. The bitter part is you've lost the conference championship game. You came that close to the Super Bowl. High floating kick that is down at about the 6-yard line by Chad Lewis.
Yeah, look what I found. Ball bounces up, hits him in the arm, and he downs the ball for the NFC.
There's the commissioner, Paul Tagliabue. Linda Lingle is the governor, first Republican governor in the state in a long time. Admiral Thomas Fargo is the commander of the U.S. Pacific Fleet. He is here as well, enjoying the Pro Bowl in Honolulu. Governor Lingle used to be the big cheese over on Maui, where they played the Hula Bowl yesterday.
What a great setting, so close to Pearl Harbor. The Carl Vinson armed and ready to go.
1st and 10 now from the 7-yard line. And that's caught by LaDainian Tomlinson on the screen, and that's going to take us down to 0-0s on the clock. So we played a quarter in the Pro Bowl with the American Football Conference leading the National Football Conference 14-3. The Pro Bowl returns after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
And play. And then I don't even know after that. Do we play Saturday? So we've got a couple more practices, and we got to slowly climb out of where we were.
All right, the Tigers face East Carolina at home on Tuesday.
In Honolulu, Al Michaels with Dan Fouts, Melissa Stark, and Lynn Swan working the sidelines as the second period gets underway. 2nd down and 10 for the AFC from the 7-yard line. And the Chargers, Tomlinson takes it up to the 13, where he's popped by John Lynch, and we check in with Melissa.
All right, Al, well, of course, the big news out of San Francisco, their head coaching situation. Who better to talk about it than Terrell Owens? It was no secret that UNC Mariucci butted heads. What did you think of his departure?
Well, I think it was, a surprise to everyone. But, it's typical of our season. Nothing really surprised me. And, it's nothing major. I think it's just like a situation where guys come in camp and they try out for the team and they get cut. It's part of the business.
They fire him, but no clear-cut plan in place. What do you think of the situation that's going on right now?
Right now, we're undecided. All I know is we don't have a coach, and whoever we bring in, I'm just hoping we can, do something offensively, do something definitely defensively, and he can bring in a spirit that to provide us some wins.
Well, adding to that, what kind of qualities would you want the new guy to have?
Well, I think offensive-minded, first of all,
aggressive?
Yeah, exactly. That's definitely aggressive. I think we got to get a lot of big guys up front, so we can get protection for Jeff to throw the ball. And defensively, we lack in some areas, but special teams is probably our main concern.
All right, Tio, thanks a lot. Well, Al, he certainly took celebrations to a new level this season. We'll have to wait and see what he does next year.
Yeah, that Sharpie incident on the Monday night. I must say, Dan, I've never heard a player reduce a coach's firing to, hey, it's just like, a player comes into camp and he gets cut.
Yeah, that is the first, but we've seen a number of firsts from T.O. this season. Interesting about that 49er situation, you hear talk of some college coaches being at least considered. Well, they can't be considered until after Wednesday, which is the college date for the National Letter of Intent signing. So this 49er situation may drag on for a time longer.
At the 43-yard line. And taken down there is Marshall Faulk. Coaching changes that have been made in the offseason. Dave Campo out at Dallas. Bill Parcells, of course, is in. Dick LeBeau out in Cincy. Marvin Lewis gets that job. Tom Coughlin out at Jacksonville. And Jack Del Rio getting that job. San Fran is still open. And Detroit is still open, with Mariucci, of course, having already interviewed in Detroit. So that you're hearing so many things about that, but you don't know what to believe in terms of whether Mariucci winds up in Detroit before the week is out or not. Meanwhile, that's picked off by Rod Woodson, and Woodson takes the ball inside the 35 to the 33-yard line. So another turnover, and the AFC is in good shape again.
Here's Rod Woodson right here, dropping back and just keeping his eyes on the quarterback. And as the ball comes, it's a misread by the quarterback trying to get the ball into Terrell Owens. Ball thrown on time perfectly to Rod Woodson. Probably the easiest interception in his great career. Jeff Garcia with 3 picks.
3 interceptions. You know, Garcia's picking up where he left off in the Tampa playoff game. That's about the way he looked that day.
Well, Tampa can do that to you, can't they, Rich Gannon?
Here's Gannon, and then he's going to try to dump it off, and it's incomplete. But I'm thinking about that, you know, the San Francisco situation is beginning to look like Tampa last year, where you keep going after a bunch of guys, and then, you know, you post it on hotjobs.com at a certain point, don't you? Wanted, head coach. You know, the funny thing, too, and we'll talk about it before the day is done, maybe with a couple of the coordinators, some of the coordinators are now making more money than head coaches. Jim Johnson, the defensive coordinator of Philadelphia, Monty Kiffin getting a brand new deal at Tampa Bay as the defensive coordinator. 2nd down and 10. And that pass is incomplete. 3rd down.
Well, in the case of Monty Kiffin and Jim Johnson, well-deserved salaries for both of them. And Monty Kiffin would have been a great head coach in the National Football League, but he is a Hall of Fame defensive coordinator.
There's Jim Johnson.
And he's taking the day off because his specialty is blitzing, and you can only run 2 defenses in the Pro Bowl and no blitzing.
3rd down and 10. And a sidearm sling is caught, hauled in by Marvin Harrison right at the 1st down marker.
Nobody throws the sidearm sling better than Rich Gannon. Perfect timing here as Harrison comes back to him and then gets 1 foot in and gets pushed out. Questionable call. I'm not sure that's a completion out.
In the regular season or postseason, as we mentioned, there are no replay facilities, no challenges, no replays here. So it stands and we go on, and Marvin Harrison makes the catch again on the slant inside the 15-yard line.
Well, Marvin Harrison, you talked about him setting a new record, Al. Against the Browns, he broke Herman Moore's pass receiving record of 123 with this catch. But he didn't stop there. How about 20 more receptions on the season to put it at 143? Talk about raising the bar. Marvin Harrison, remarkable.
2nd and 3. Gannon hit from behind as he throws and then is able to complete it to his regular season teammate Jerry Rice, and that's a 1st down at the 11-yard line. Hugh Douglas put the pressure on. We go to Swanee.
Well, I thank you, Al. You were talking about Marvin Harrison. Who was throwing that ball to him, Peyton?
Well, it was Rich Gannon, but he's kind of my guy. He better not be taking him back with him.
What does it take between the quarterback and the receiver to get 143 receptions?
Well, it takes a quarterback who has a lot of confidence in one guy, and I played with Marvin my whole career. He's one of those guys that you know on every single play, he's going to get open and you can count on him. So throwing out here with Jerry Rice, it's hard to throw to Marvin all the time too, but pick it up. I'm just lucky to call him a teammate.
Now, you talk about trust and confidence. There was an article, a story, Mike Vanderjagt and your team made some comments questioning maybe your passion and your and the personality of you and Tony Dungy as to being winners.
Yeah, that's hard to believe, Lynn. Here we are. I'm out of my 3rd Pro Bowl. I'm about to go in and throw a touchdown to Jerry Rice. We're honoring the Hall of Fame. We're talking about our idiot kicker who got liquored up and ran his mouth off. So, hey, Al, Dan, what has the sports world come to? We're talking about idiot kickers. He has ruined kickers for life. Akers and Vinatieri, these guys are great guys. They've been getting killed all week because our idiot ran his mouth. So when I get home, I'll deal with it. Tony and I talked about it. It's kind of funny, really, when you think about it. Get in. If he is still a teammate, we'll deal with it. You know, it remains to be seen. But the sad thing is, Lynn, he's a good kicker. He's a good kicker, but he's an idiot. Hey, Dan, what do you think about this?
Peyton, I think you've already dealt with it.
Hey, Peyton, stop beating around the bush.
I counted 4 idiots, but I missed one.
Yeah. Well, I think there might be an AP story out within about the next 45 seconds.
Yeah, I think Monster.com may have a kicker coming Indy's way.
Meanwhile, Travis Henry caught the pass and took it in for the touchdown. And on the extra point by Vinatieri is good. Go back and take a look at the Henry touchdown. Henry having a breakout season with the Buffalo Bills. It's 21-3 American Conference. Kicker Mike Vanderjagt, who's an outstanding kicker for Indianapolis, was on a show last week, and he started talking about the lack of passion exhibited by Tony Dungy, the coach at Indy, and Peyton Manning, and it became a big story. I subsequently saw a story where Vanderjagt has apologized, but you heard what Manning had to say, and he minced no words in talking about that situation. As this kick is fielded by Jeremy Shockey, who lost the ball. The AFC thinks they have it. There's no signal yet, as Shockey took the line drive kick, and the AFC has it. So another turnover by the National Conference.
Shockey made a great catch on this knuckleballing kickoff. And hard hitting on the special teams is going to result in this fumble. Ball hit right on the helmet there by Ricky Williams. Ricky Williams selling out on kickoff coverage causes that fumble. Textbook tackle, helmet right on the ball.
Only in the Pro Bowl does the NFL rushing champion wind up on kickoff coverage and create the 4th turnover. And now they change at quarterback after Gannon was 12 of 18 with 2 TDs. Drew Bledsoe, after his first season in Buffalo, throws, and that is deflected and then caught by Tony Gonzalez.
That's a spectacular catch by Gonzalez, as LeVar Arrington got a fingernail on this ball to just deflect it. If Gonzalez can catch this cleanly, he will score. Running right at you, little out and up move. Bledsoe puts it over the top. Arrington with a finger on it, and Gonzalez, great concentration. Keeps his feet in and everything. Wow.
At the 22-yard line, 1st and 10. And the ball is given to Travis Henry, so you have one Bill handing it off to another Bill. You also have the wideout Moles and the guard Reuben Brown. So the Buffalo Bills, coming along this year, good season under Greg Williams, with 4 offensive players on the Pro Bowl squad.
And perhaps the most important, big number 11, Drew Bledsoe. What a fantastic year, 4,359 yards for the Bills. That's the 2nd highest to Rich Gannon.
2nd down and 8 from the 20-yard line. Bledsoe to the corner of the end zone, and it hangs up in the wind and is picked off by the Eagles' Troy Vincent. Intended for Eric Moles, the ball just hung in the breeze in the trade winds, and that's the 2nd turnover by the AFC and the 6th turnover in the game. 6 turnovers in a little bit more than 20 minutes, 21-3. See, 21-3 with 9:09 remaining in the first half. Beautiful day, bright blue skies, temperature in the low 80s in Honolulu. Turnover-filled game. 2 by the AFC, 4 by the NFC. The NFC at the 20-yard line. And Donovan McNabb of the Eagles is the new quarterback and turns and hands the ball off to Marshall Faulk. And, of course, all of the Hall of Famers are here. You knew that Marcus Allen was going to go in on the first ballot. We're so proud of you. It was just a pleasure watching you play. Congratulations, Marcus.
Thank you. It's getting better, too. I mean, I was on such a high in San Diego, and it's one of those feelings I'm sure Dan could attest. If you're awake, may you never sleep, and if you're asleep, may you never awake. So it's just been fantastic.
Well, your time in Canton, you will not sleep there either, my friend. Believe me, that is a great experience being back there.
McNabb on 2nd down and 7, under pressure. avoiding the sack and rolling and throwing into traffic, and that's incomplete. Look, you and I have done some interviews before, haven't we?
Yes, we have. I was just about to bring that up. I think last week you and I talked on air. It was Monday night many years ago in Miami.
Right, and of course the cause celeb, and that was the end of your Raider career. You know, I've always wondered the fact that toward the end of your Raider career you weren't playing very much. Do you think that gave you enough, I don't know, strength, endurance, or whatever, to maybe get a little bit more out of the end of your career with Kansas City?
I really don't think so. I think it's just genetics. I just a moment ago I was looking at my dad. Instead of jumping over, instead of walking down the aisle in the first row, he jumped from the second one to the first, and he's 69 years old. So it sort of runs in the family.
Now your dad, we understand, he will be the man to deliver the induction speech next August.
Yes, he will. Had a lot of important people, a lot of important coaches, but I think the father-son relationship, I think, is something I think is very, very important. He's meant a lot to me, and he was the first guy to buy me my football shoes and pay that initiation fee for me to play Pop Warner football. So he's the guy.
And he's probably responsible for you playing 222 games in the National Football League, including a couple of Pro Bowls. How about that touchdown pass you threw when we were partners?
Absolutely, to Wes Chandler. I do remember that. Saw Wes the other day, and I had mentioned that to him, and we sort of laughed about it. But, one of my things I enjoy most, and I tell people, and not because you're standing here, I said one of the guys that I enjoyed most playing with was at the Pro Bowl was Dan Fouts. It was almost like we were playing schoolyard ball. He said, Al, okay, I got you on the end, and you're running the streak down. He said, Marcus, now don't go away. I'm going to be looking. If they're not there, I'm going to be looking for you.
You don't go away either. We'll be back in a minute.
You got it.
From the perspective of 10 or 11 years down the road, how do you look back at what happened with the Raiders at the end?
You know, I really don't know. I'm still sort of mystified by it. I wish it didn't happen that way. Frankly, I always wanted to retire as a Raider, but it didn't. I enjoyed my years in Kansas City. People keep asking me, well, who are you going to represent? I said, I'm going to represent both teams. You know, I'm not going to deny any part of my career, but I've also said the best thing that can possibly happen if Al Davis and I shook hands in Canton, to put all this stuff to rest. And I'm willing to do that. I don't know if he will, though.
Well, he is a member of the Hall of Fame.
Yes, he is.
You will be very happy to know that the Hall of Fame is celebrating their 40th anniversary this year, and all living Hall of Famers are invited back.
Should be a lot of fun. I mean, what a great class. Hank Stram, which I grew up watching when I was a kid. James Lofton played as a teammate. Joe DeLamalure. Great, we got to have those guys that block for us, and then Elvin Bethea. I mean, what a great group, and a great group of guys, two guys.
There to Jerry Rice, third down and 5. Jerry, of course, will be first ballot unanimous when he retires, and that pass is incomplete as the pop is put on by Derek Brooks. So, Marcus, now as we take a look first at what still is a record Super Bowl run against the Washington Redskins in Tampa.
I feel good about this, I have to tell you, because every Super Bowl I see all the running backs that are playing the game. I say, guys, have a great game, but please don't play a long run past 74 yards.
Right. Nobody break 180. And what's life for you right now, Marcus? What's going on? How you doing?
You know what? I need a break. I'm working with CBS on the NFL Today. I love that. But I'm on the road every weekend from the beginning of the season to the end, and it wears on you. So actually, we're going to come back to Hawaii next week for a little vacation, so it should be nice.
We hear you, buddy. Congratulations.
Pleasure, always.
Oh, man.
And
great.
Dan, and I grew up loving Dan Fouts, the San Diego Chargers, so it was a pleasure, man. Thank you.
It was great competing against you, my friend. Good luck.
Thanks a lot.
Marcus Allen going to the Hall of Fame. We'll be back.
You got him, LeVar. Reggie. You got him. Hey, LeVar. Man, you out, Julian. We both.
Derek Brooks mic'd up, talking to LeVar Arrington as the NFC now from the 27-yard line. On this play, it is McNabb to Terrell Owens. And speaking of the Defensive Player of the Year, Mr. Derek Brooks, here's Melissa.
All right, Al. Well, I talked to Derek Brooks right after the Super Bowl win last week, and you were in just awe. You were kind of dazed, kind of confused a little bit, but now that you've had a week to...
I just think, his preparation and really the assistant coaches working together. Now that he has that big contract, the pressure's on the players now. We got to go out and perform more than ever. So I hope he's watching, because I'm waiting on a gift from my locker when we get back.
Well, Al, during Super Bowl week, John Gruden compared his defense to the great closers in baseball and Brooks has got to be Mariano Rivera.
Yeah, that's exactly what he was last week, because that wrote a finish to that game as he sauntered into the end zone with a touchdown.
The amazing thing about him is when he gets the ball, he is a threat to go all the way. He's got such great speed.
2nd and 7. And there's McNabb, and he throws. He almost came across the line of scrimmage, but the pass is incomplete, intended for Marshall Faulk. The Pro Bowl, he was one of them. Sapp, of course, was one of them. That pass is not caught. Todd Law breaking it up, intended for Joe Horn. Sapp would have been here, but Warren, minor injury, and he's out of the game. But Lynch is here, and so David Akers adds 3 to make it 21-6. And there are the big 3 defensively, and that's 4 straight seasons that the 3 defensive teammates have been chosen for the Pro Bowl, and you had those guys going in, and you know about that defense, Green, Greenwood, and Ham.
And that's why the Buccaneers will be talked about in the same breath as the Steel Curtain. With 3 players like the Steelers represented there, and of course Brooks, Lynch, and Sapp in
yards, held jointly by Morton Anderson and Jason Hanson. Dante Hall. There has never been a kickoff return for a touchdown in this game. Sounds like Tampa. Ball from the 7. And there still won't be. Up to the 29-yard line. The Pro Bowl from Honolulu on ABC Sports being brought to you by Bud Light. For the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light. FedEx, Ground International, online or express. Don't worry, there is a FedEx for that. And a GMC, we are professional grade. Will you love me when my carburetor's busted? Will you love me when my radiator needs repair? Just a little love song for you, Dan.
Oh, jeez. I didn't know you cared.
Well, it was Myrtle K. Hilo years ago.
Absolutely.
From the 28-yard line, here is Ricky Williams up to the 35 for a gain of 6.
Let's take run. We'll go I right, fake 12 Mike, double shake. I right, fake 12 Mike, double shake.
Little play action pass this time for the AFC as Mike Heimerdinger calls it into Drew Bledsoe. Going to fake the ball to Ricky Williams and then try to get the wide receivers, Jerry Rice and Marvin Harrison, perhaps on a corner route. We are now 7 for 7 for eavesdropping on the coaches.
Will Levy tells
us. The snap, false start. Number 75, offense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Ogden.
Over that one. I right, fake 12 Mike, double shake. I right, fake 12 Mike, double shake.
United 103 heavy. 17,000. I better not fool around with that. 2nd and 9 from the 29. And that is one arm by Mr. Rice at the 43-yard line.
It's a double shake route. A shake route is when you come down and fake the post to the inside and then cut to the outside. And nobody runs it better than Jerry Rice. How about the finishing? Exclamation point with the one hand. Oh, how good is that?
Lester Hayes couldn't have grabbed it like that with all that slicking. From the 43. This is Marvin Harrison. And Harrison across the 50, close to a first down. Let's go down to Swanee.
Wow, Rich Gannon was watching Jerry Rice make that catch. That was unbelievable.
He can still do it. He's the best.
Yeah. Rich, you had a phenomenal year, MVP, when a lot of people thought you would never be a quarterback. Put that in perspective for what that meant to you.
Well, I'll tell you what, it was a good year for me personally, but it was a great year for the Raiders. And although we're disappointed with the Super Bowl, we're not discouraged. We're going to be back, and we'll try and get it right this time around.
All right, you've got a week after the Super Bowl. You look at not the great performance you wanted to have. What happened in that ball game after looking at it with a week gone by?
Well, we got behind early, made things difficult for ourselves. I didn't play well, and you know, again, we win as a team, we lose as a team, and we just didn't get it done against a very, very good defensive team in Tampa Bay. And again, that team is built on playing with the lead. Got behind by 17 in the first half. We're never able to catch up.
Thank you very much, Rich. I know there's going to be a lot of changes with the Raiders. We got about 5 seconds. What do you think?
We'll be back. We're going to restructure some deals, and we're going to continue to try and build for a world championship.
All right, Rich. Thank you.
All right, Swanee, final play before the 2-minute warning is a little pass out here in the flat caught by Todd Heap, and that takes us down to a minute 55 seconds left in the opening half at the Pro Bowl, where the AFC is up by 15. Next flight and the next flight and the one after that as well, but there he is. Look at that backdrop. You look like you're in Hawaii.
Yeah, I know. You know, if I would have been able to get on that humpback whale, I would have made it. That's the only way I think I could get there.
We'll talk to John at the half coming up as this half winds down and the pass is incomplete, intended down the far side for Jerry Rice. And speaking of the half, we'll check in with John, who's back on dry land, and of course an ABC News special report on the Space Shuttle Columbia disaster. And then Jennifer Love Hewitt is the featured performer here at Aloha Stadium at the half. Lexus halftime show coming up at the break. Bledsoe 4 of 8. Gannon, meanwhile, as you look at Gannon's numbers, 12 of 18, he's in line for a third straight Player of the Game award, and that is hauled in by Jerry Rice, who takes the ball to the 34.
Especially when you factor in Gannon's 2 touchdown passes. But Jerry Rice may have something to say about that too, you know.
Jerry Rice has now caught 4 to 36 yards.
And those 4 are the most in this first half. So all Raider first half.
And that's a beautifully thrown ball right over the middle, caught by Todd Heap. And the Baltimore tight end is a first down to the 13-yard line, and a timeout is taken by the Americans. Badge is back. Dragnet. Brand new Dragnet right here on ABC. Just the facts, Dano. From the 13-yard line, first down. That pass is floating in the wind and incomplete. Brian Dawkins was able to knock it down.
That was a great read by Brian Dawkins. He came off his primary responsibility and almost came up with an interception. He's playing outside as a corner. Here's right here. Watch as he comes up here and then back to make a play on this ball. Totally fooled Drew Bledsoe. Great reaction by Dawkins.
Hey, you got him.
Second and 10 from the 13. Over the top and through the end zone it goes. Intended for Gonzalez. Third down.
Yeah, Bledsoe appears to be having trouble with this wind, but if anybody can throw in the wind, it's this big, strong guy, especially playing in windy Buffalo. So this swirls through the openings in the stadium here, and at times a touch pass will get away from you.
It's easier to throw in a nor'easter than it is a trade wind, huh?
A nor'easter is more consistent.
That's right. Flag is thrown. First and goal now from the 7. Here's Williams. Can Ricky get into the end zone? Well, no, not for the moment. Not for the moment. He pays the price, but so does the defense. Dawkins and Arrington knock him down.
Yeah, once you leave your feet, you lose all your power. And that's exactly what Ricky does here after the screen pass from Bledsoe. He's going to leap, try to dive in the end zone, and boom, Arrington throws the shoulder into him, and Ricky goes right out of bounds. Who says they don't hit hard in the Pro Bowl?
2nd and goal now from the 1-yard line. And a busted play, but Williams turns it into a touchdown. Ran through Champ Bailey, so an awkward handoff, and the end result, still 6 points.
Now, Ricky may have been had a few cobwebs from the Arrington hit. He's totally out of sync here with Bledsoe, but he still possesses great speed and power as he runs over Champ Bailey. Stays on the ground to do it too. He learned his lesson well.
So Ricky has his 2nd touchdown, and he had the forced fumble on special teams. So there's another MVP candidate as Vinatieri bangs it through with 47 seconds remaining in the opening half.
Ricky Williams led the league in rushing this season, and he displayed breakaway speed for the first time in his 4-year career. Prior to this year, his longest run had been 46 yards. This season, he had 3 runs of over 50 yards. And I got to believe, Al, much of the credit has to go to his new offensive coordinator, Norv Turner, who has a way of producing great running backs.
No doubt. Changed the whole offense for him, and there it is. First 3 years in New Orleans, and then the Dolphins' single-season record right there on the bottom.
And that's by 170 yards.
And look at that. And in his 3 years in New Orleans, he had 16 total rushing touchdowns, and he equaled that figure in one season with the Dolphins.
With my accent, they have problems. So it could be like that, or however we decide.
Ricky loves to travel. I was talking to him before the game. He's heading to Thailand, he said, in a month or so.
Wow. That's the wrong direction, I think.
Well,
but maybe not for Ricky.
He's going to Costa Rica, and then he's going to Thailand. I told him to check out a Thai massage. I mean, that's like the greatest thing on earth.
I'll take your word for it.
Yes. In the top 3 anyway. Vinatieri sends a grounder. Inside the 15 with a lot of spin on it and into the end zone. And that baby will be down there by Michael Lewis. Well, as we check in Pleasanton, John, it may be Sunday afternoon, but at 28-6, you know what it reminds me of? Monday night.
I know, and I could see this coming all the way, Al. I could feel it coming. And you know, something, Dan Fouts just brought up a name that I think would be interesting for the San Francisco 49ers, and that's Norv Turner. You know, that they don't know who their coach is going to be, and they're talking to a lot of different guys, and I was just thinking, as he said, Norv Turner coaching Ricky Williams and the Miami Dolphins, that's not a bad name.
Yeah, you know, nobody had even thought about that or talked about it. And I wonder if anybody's thinking about it right now in the 49er offices. And that pass is incomplete.
Having been a college teammate of Norv Turner, I just may make a call for my old buddy there.
That's right.
Former Washington Redskin head coach who did such a great job this year with the Dolphins and last year with the Chargers as offensive coordinator.
There we go.
And we've got another administrative penalty out.
Again, this is generated from up top.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on the defense for stunting. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
One stunt negates the other.
We may want to send George Sepsic out for a hot dog. Get out of this first half.
Yep.
Let's check out the stunt. It's between the 4 defensive linemen. And when this man comes inside and that's a loop to the outside, that is illegal. Little stunt here and then a loop around. That'll get you a penalty every time in the Pro Bowl.
First and 10 now at the 35-yard line. And that is it caught? One official checking with the other, and the umpire had a better view and said, one hopper, incomplete. So I figure if Turner gets the San Francisco job, you get a finder's fee, don't you?
Well, I would hope so. But the San Francisco situation is so bizarre right now with all the different candidates. primarily defensive-minded candidates, and yet now college coaches' names being thrown in the hat. Unusual for them to be so disorganized.
2nd and 10, and that's Joe Horn. We're going to talk to John at the half about that 49er situation and what's going on. Mini skirmish.
Yeah, John's favorite guys, the big guys, are getting into a little fisticuffs down there.
Ron Stone and Richard Seymour is winding down. Here's your call.
Yeah, they called it on the wrong guy. They said 62. Of course, we got two 62s. Marco Rivera, that's Jeremy Newberry of the 49ers. Right in the little things. Even the offensive lineman got double numbers out.
I have double vision with that. But that's another story. Here is McNabb. And that's too high and incomplete, and he forced Terrell Owens to go way up in the air. That's Sam Madison, who's replacing the injured Patrick Surtain, his teammate in Miami, who breaks it up.
Owens lucky to not get injured on that play. That's a wide receiver's worst nightmare, is to have a ball thrown high with a defensive back closing low.
So it figures to be, barring a defensive foul here, the final play of the opening half. McNabb trying to launch one, does, but nothing but white shirts there, and it's going to be an easy free pick by Rod Woodson playing center field, and then they're going to lateral it and see what they can make out of it as Aaron Glenn now looks to lateral it. He runs it over to Law. Law looks like that was a forward pass right there, but I don't see any flag. And this is Jason Taylor who's going to take it all the way down the field, and it's the old Cal Stanford play, and the ball comes loose, and we're missing only the band and the trombonist at this point. And I can't believe there's no flag on the field because it looked like two of those passes were forward passes. But that's the way the half is going to end.
It cannot end on a fumble. The fumbling player must recover the fumble at the end of the half there. But that was a wonderful play.
And there it is. Even though the flag wasn't thrown, there was an illegal forward pass. And that's the end of the half. Funny ending to the first half, dominated by the AFC 28-6. I'll be with John at the half. Jennifer Love Hewitt will also entertain. But first up, an ABC News special report, Space Shuttle Columbia update. And for that, let's go to New York. And here's Robin Roberts. Robin? And begins. Dante Hall of the Chiefs. From the 6. There you go. All right, D, let's go. Another decent run back to the 32. And let's check in with Melissa Stark.
Well, Al, the NFL has been honoring a Teacher of the Year since 1990, and this year's winner is Hal Farah from Waterford Kettering High School in Waterford, Michigan, and he was nominated by Bears quarterback Jim Miller. And Jim, what made him such a special teacher to you?
Well, I think, you see the guys out here that have a passion for football. Hal has a passion for teaching young students. He taught me a great deal. He helped me grow as a person, and obviously he made a big enough impact in my life for me to remember him 15 years later.
And Hal, what kind of student was Jim?
Well, contrary to popular opinion, he was a very brilliant kid. He was in my honors English class. And I was always impressed. He was also on my baseball team. I was always impressed by his work ethic. We'd go to away ball games, and he'd be sitting there doing his math at the same time that he was preparing for the ball game.
You guys sound like a good combo. Well, congratulations. Al, it's a great program.
No question, year after year, and it's a nice trip for the teacher to come over to Hawaii.
Not bad for the player either.
Not bad at all. Second and 10 from the 32. Drew Bledsoe starting the second half. Gannon started the first. We'll see Manning a little bit later. And that pass is incomplete, intended for Eric Moles, his Buffalo mate.
That is two outstanding plays by Troy Vincent in a row as he broke on that play almost as quickly as he did on the previous play when they tried to hit Moulds on a hook route. But Troy Vincent playing tight coverage, top of the right side here. So don't be surprised if the AFC doesn't try a double move on Vincent, try to get the ball deep behind him.
Third down and 10 from the 32-yard line.
I got him.
And that pass is caught up at the 50-yard line by Eric Moulds, who keeps going to his main man, Moulds.
It just makes sense. You have a certain confidence, obviously, but the timing part of it is important too, especially in a game where the defensive line is so good at getting pressure on the quarterback. Bledsoe knows that if I get back and get set, come forward and throw the ball, that Moulds will be there.
From the 49. Toss back to LaDainian Tomlinson, and the San Diego Charger takes it to the 35. Several players mic'd up. Here's a little sampling.
That's a bad place to be.
Get a pick right here, Pete. Get a pick.
Me and you, my way, your way.
Thomas is really flying with the eyes and stuff. I mean, there should be some seams inside too.
What's the call?
Down.
What's the call?
You guys done it.
Oh, I'm so tired.
Goes inside the beam stuff, and that pass is incomplete because Michael Strahan put the pressure on Bledsoe.
That's an example of another special Pro Bowl rule that Bledsoe can throw the ball away at any time he's under pressure, as can all the quarterbacks. But it would help if somebody would block Michael Strahan. Here he is, end of line of the scrimmage, and he's got a free shot at Drew. And Drew doesn't have to get outside of the tight end to throw the ball away here in the Pro Bowl. Smile, Michael.
Michael, from his role in our pregame set last week, did a good job in San Diego. And that's one of those things, you have a free shot at the quarterback, and it's the Pro Bowl, so courtesy prevails. LaDainian Tomlinson steps out of bounds.
And some real bad footwork and execution by Drew Bledsoe that time. As Zach Thomas does some footwork on the sidelines, but Drew thought it was a pitch to the left side and had to adjust the last second.
Bledsoe helping lead the Bills to a resurgent season. Everybody knowing that he was the #1 pick in the draft overall a number of years ago with New England, and then with Tom Brady coming to the forefront, leading them to the Super Bowl. Bledsoe became expendable. New England traded him to Buffalo. And he throws to the 10-yard line where it's caught there by Gonzalez, and he finally gets wrestled down by Brian Dawkins. First and goal.
Longest pass play of the afternoon for either squad goes to Tony Gonzalez, 88 here, corner route, and it's a blown coverage by the NFC as nobody is around big number 88. Dawkins comes over late from his weak safety position, but Bledsoe again floating the ball here. If he could get the ball to Gonzalez without Gonzalez stopping, Tony is in the end zone. But sometimes when a guy's that wide open, you just want to get the completion.
29-yard gain by Gonzalez on the reception, and Tomlinson is tackled at the line of scrimmage. Tackled by Brian Dawkins. Dane, what do you think as an old Charger with Drew Brees, with LaDainian Tomlinson, Schottenheimer? That team got off to a good start and then faded this year. What about the future of the Chargers?
Well, I think it's solid. Obviously, Junior Seau is a big part of that. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it here to the Pro Bowl. He's having surgery on his ankle, but the key is Schottenheimer and his attitude. And the more the Charger team get used to Marty Schottenheimer, they won't fade next year if they get off to a quick start as they did this year.
Second and goal now. Speaking of Tomlinson, take a look at his first 2 years, 1683 this year. Good receiver as well, and a real emerging superstar.
Al, he finished second in the league in rushing. He had two significant games that helped get him here to the Pro Bowl. Against the Patriots, he rushed for over 200 yards and scored twice. And then against the Raiders, this 19-yard run in overtime gave San Diego a 27-21 win. But he's got to learn, don't kneel down in front of the black hole.
Second and goal.
No celebrating in that part of that stadium, young man.
Tomlinson taken down at the line of scrimmage. It'll be third down and goal.
He's such a versatile back. You talked about all the receptions, but he's durable and he's young. And when you put him together with Drew Brees and think about their future together, Tim Dwight as well. Chargers going to have some weapons and, of course, that fiery Schottenheimer attitude.
AFC third down goal now from the two opening drive of the second half. And that pass is incomplete as he tried to get it to Eric Moles. And it will be fourth down.
Jeff Fisher appears that they want to go for it. Nope. Come on, Jeff. It's the Pro Bowl game. Pile on.
Jeff Fisher taking his team to one Super Bowl following the 99 season, losing, of course, on the Kurt Warner pass to Isaac Bruce, and then Dyson came up a yard short on the last play of the game.
And this field goal will give the AFC that all-important 25-point edge.
Very important. Hugely important. Still under, though. 10:41 left in the third. 31-6. 50 Cent. The rap guy. So we're touring next week. We're going to be known as 51 cents.
That would be 4 bits.
I told 50 we're going to be the next Steve Lawrence and E.D. Gourmet. Looked at me like, huh? Jeremy Shockey takes it up to the 47-yard line with 10:34 remaining in the third quarter. And the AFC dominant.
Is prohibited.
Take a look at the NFC Star Trek. Not a good day for either Jeff Garcia or Donovan McNabb. 3 interceptions for Garcia, and McNabb is just 3 of 9 for those 47 yards.
And here is Donovan. There's Garcia. From the 47-yard line. He's going to go to the air. Near side, caught. Across midfield. Michael Bennett. Let's check in with Swanee.
Well, guys, you were talking about the San Diego Chargers. One of the new inductees to the Hall of Fame is James Lofton, who is a receivers coach for the Chargers. I imagine, since that's where the Hall of Fame voting took place, you were home. What happened when you heard the news?
I was actually getting ready to go on the ESPN Classic show, and so I'm backstage, and to tell you the truth, Lynn, I turned my cell phone off, because once you've gotten that bad news that you hadn't made it in the past, I didn't want the news. So what happened was I was across the courtyard. My wife got a call that I had made it, and it's funny. I remember the day she walked down the aisle. I remember her holding our first child in the hospital room, and looking at her face that day, she was kind of just floating. I knew that it was good news.
That was a great sense of relief. You know, there's only 2 guys who have more yards than you, Jerry Rice and Tim Brown. And you have an average of 18.3 yards per catch, which is phenomenal in today's game.
I knocked down all the short passes.
but how'd you get that kind of consistency?
You know what? It was the offense. Because production is only related to what kind of offense you're going to run. If you guys are going to throw the ball down the field deep, that's what you're going to get. I just wasn't a short receiver, and really that really hadn't gotten in vogue until really Art Monk did it, and I think a lot of people have copied that since.
Hall of Fame week is going to be a terrific time for you. Who will induct you? Who will present you?
I'm actually going to have my oldest son David present me, and he's 19. He's a freshman at Stanford, so hopefully he can handle it. He'll probably weather it better than I will.
Looking forward to seeing you there. Thanks, James.
Thanks, Lynn.
Dan, I look at James Lofton with that average. I mean, the way the game is played right now, unless there's another sea change somewhere down the line, nobody will average 18 yards a catch.
18 yards a catch, and we talk about the definition of a deep threat.
Shockey a deep threat here with the ball overthrown.
And the great thing about Lofton is obviously he played 16 years, which is a long, long time for a wide receiver. But he never lost the speed. He was as big a threat at the end of his career as he was when he broke in with a pack.
Yeah, that's a good point. And he was tremendously exciting to watch.
And, you know, Al, he was a track star at Stanford, and really a lot of track stars have tried to make that transition, but nobody has made that transition from track to football such as Lofton has.
Todd Sauer run. Fair catch call for made 16-yard line by Dante Hall. 8:58 left in the third quarter in beautiful Hawaii.
Try to double move Vincent over here and see if we can get a home run. Got double move there. We got Gonzalez right over the ball.
And that's Manning in the game now, and that pass is incomplete. Good coverage on Moles by Troy Vincent.
Well, we'll keep going until we get one right.
Okay. All right, Peyton. Okay, let's go spear right here. Spear right, and let's go 18 stretch. Spear right, 18 stretch. We're going to run it here. We're going to see if we can run it one time. So we're going to pitch. We're going to pitch it and see if Tony can get straight hand pin. See if we can get LT outside here.
LT as in LaDainian Tomlinson. They got him outside. They got him out of bounds.
Yeah, the other part of that is they just went after Troy Vincent as a corner, trying to get him deep. So figured that they could run the ball in front of him that time.
If you want 50 Dito.
Getting the gun?
Yeah. We got to make sure Maui's the center when we get in the gun.
You know, Coach, one of the things we're noticing here, a number of these plays you designed to go to a person very often have to go down to the check down guy, the second, third guy.
Well, we told Peyton on that one if he didn't have it, if Vincent didn't bite, that he could have gone to Tony because Tony's been open over the middle of the field the whole time.
3rd and 10, and that's incomplete.
I feel like a weight around your neck here.
Swanee, you're killing us here. If I can ever get him to the checkdowns, like you said, though, we'll be all right. Because Tony was wide open there for the first down. So, you know, sometimes when you tell them primary guy, they go there and they don't think about the rest of the stuff.
Well, that's a tough thing about an all-star game.
Yeah, I know. So, well, it's a lot of times in the regular season too. It happens. So.
Thanks, Coach. Al.
Swanee, your new name is Al B. Tross. Here's Hanson. His punt fielded by Champ Bailey at the 31-yard line.
There we go.
Dano, you and I are having a mind meld today, aren't we?
Well, you're stealing my lines. I know that. I don't know about any meld.
Tom Prompter over here. 7:58 left in the third. AFC up by 25. Donovan McNabb slings it over the middle. Caught inside the 40. Joe Horn, first down. Here's Melissa.
Al, we're eavesdropping again with Eagles offensive coordinator Brad Childress calling in the plays right now to Donovan McNabb.
Cox 2, wide deep cross. We'll see if we can get Shockey running across the field with the safety cover, hand to man.
Here's Shockey right here, down and across the field against his safety.
Checks down underneath. Michael Bennett of the Minnesota Vikings out of Wisconsin. Tackled by Jason Gilden.
All right, next play.
Donovan, let's go 24 double square out. Soft and off. Red right, 24 double square out.
All right, Brad, so what's that?
They're real soft on the corners on the outside. They don't want to get beat with this lead, so we're going to throw it in front of them here, see if we can get a catch and run.
Now did Terrell Owens out here or Joe Horn at the top of the screen on the square out route?
Sam Madison very soft on Owens on this side, looking that way, and it's exactly what he said, but then Owens doesn't lift the ball into his hands, and it's incomplete.
What I want to know is why is Brad Childress shielding his face when he's calling these plays?
Habit.
Okay, Don, give him one more time. Red right, 24 double square out. 2 downs here, Don. If you don't like it, hit your M. Red right, 24 double square out. That's we're going to repeat it.
A what?
We're going to repeat it.
Okay. We're not bringing you much luck here, are we?
Excuse me?
We're not bringing you much luck.
No, we're not.
Third and 5 now from the 34-yard line. McNabb 6 out of 15 for 76 yards. Stepping away from pressure, going on the run. No good.
But Childress said we're going to go for it on 4th down there, so Donovan threw that ball away knowing that he's got another down to play with here.
Here we go, Donovan. Let's go. Solo right, 2-jet, double drag hook. Tell your tight ends to flatten up. Swing. Okay? This is 4th down now, 4th and 5.
Terrell Owens out here, or Joe Horn at the top of the screen on the square out route.
Sam Madison very soft on Owens on this side, looking that way, and it's exactly what he said, but then Owens doesn't lift the ball into his hands, and it's incomplete.
What I want to know is why is Brad Childress shielding his face when he's calling these plays?
Habit.
Let's go again, Don. Give him one more time. Red right, 24 double square out. 2 downs here, Don. If you don't like it, hit your M. Red right, 24 double square out. We're going to repeat it.
What?
We're going to repeat it.
Okay. We're not bringing you much luck here, are we?
Excuse me?
We're not bringing you much luck.
No, we're not.
Third and 5 now from the 34-yard line. McNabb 6 out of 15 for 76 yards. Stepping away from pressure, going on the run. No good.
But Childress said we're going to go for it on 4th down there, so Donovan threw that ball away knowing that he's got another down to play with here.
Here we go, Donovan. Let's go. Solo right, 2-jet, double drag hook. Tell your tight ends to flatten up. Swing. Okay? This is 4th down now, 4th and 5. Solo right, 2-jet, double drag, swing.
All right, Brad, so what do we expect?
We got hooks on the outside with flatten ups by the tight ends here. They've hit us on this a couple times today.
A lot of lines to draw on this one. That's enough.
That pass is caught. They convert on a 4th down, and that's Joe Horn. And finally, something pays off.
And again, it's because the corners are playing so loose that they can throw the square outs or the hooks in front of them. You can see just how far. This is like 10 yards, and that is a long, long way to be playing off. But, you know, you got a 25-point lead or whatever it is right now. You don't want to give up the long play. Ty Law misses the tackle. That doesn't help the AFC much.
Now the NFC at the 16-yard line, trying to climb back into the game. On 1st down, it's Donovan McNabb in the pocket, throwing out of the end zone. Send it to Joe Horn. A lot of guys beg off from the Pro Bowl with injuries real and imagined. McNabb, who was, as you know, hurt for the second half of the season and got back for the playoffs, of all the guys who could have had an excuse not to play here to mend that ankle, Donovan said, nope, I didn't get enough action into the second half of the season. I want to play in this game.
And Andy Reid, his head coach, is here and couldn't talk Donovan McNabb out of it, and thank goodness he couldn't. Great to watch.
2nd and 10 at the 16-yard line. Shovel, Bennett, and Zach Thomas.
That's the one thing about Zach Thomas. You're just not going to fool him. If he has a responsibility on a play, he is going to carry it out. And then at the end of the play, here he is right here. Watch it. He's just clued into Michael Bennett here. Again, it's one of those little shovel passes by a quarterback. But look at the speed and then the explosion on the tackle.
Who threw the shovel pass first?
Lee Grosscup.
Under Jack Curtis.
Running youth.
Cupper made a career out of it.
He still is.
3rd and 11. And taken down at the 15-yard line, Jason Taylor knocking down McNabb. Clock ticking down to 5 minutes remaining in the third.
sound a little bit about like you and 50 Cent there for a while.
That's right. It's the duet. We're going down as 49 cents synthesizer.
I think you're down to 2 bits.
4th and 8. NFC going for it from the 14-yard line. And McNabb buying time, throwing, and that's incomplete. Shockey couldn't get away from Marion. And they'll give the ball back to the American Conference with 4:29 left in the third, and the AFC on top.
There you go, Dano. Those guys are crazy.
Always wanted to do that. In the 14-yard line. Manning underthrows. It gets a break. Pass tip caught by Gonzalez. Tipped by Julian Peterson, the 49er linebacker.
Julian Peterson's got to be a little ticked off. He got pushed by Gonzalez. Gonzalez going to run a corner route. Peterson is number 98 here. Watch Gonzalez push off right there, and now Peterson can't make the catch. And who makes the catch? Gonzalez with his second deflected reception of the afternoon.
From the 39-yard line. Ball handed off to the Buffalo Bills. Travis Hendry on first down, picks up 3. Here's Melissa.
Al, you hate to have to do injury updates during the Pro Bowl, but we have quite a list here. Bucks, Simeon Rice re-aggravated his left shoulder that was bothering him at the end of the season. He's out for the game. The Saints' Michael Lewis, he's sick. He's been vomiting. He has an IV inside the locker room right now. Broncos' Trevor Price, he has a sprained right ankle. He's been in and out of the game. And the Packers' Darren Sharper re-injured that right knee that bothered him most of the season, out for the game. Good news is they have the entire offseason to rehab.
You bet, nothing seems serious. I don't think it'll take 6 months to get rid of nausea, do you, Dan? Manning throws, and it's caught by Todd Heap. And Baltimore Raven rumbles to the 35-yard line.
And sometimes you get that bad ice over here in those umbrella beverages, and you can get nausea at any time.
That or some like bad pee-pee collar. Rancid Manapua.
Vanderjack may have a little pee-pee caca.
Yes, he does. He might have had one of those umbrella drinks. From the 34, Henry. Again, going back, if you missed the first half, we were talking about Mike Vanderjagt, the Indianapolis kicker, went on a show last week and said, Dungy and Manning didn't have the passion, and Indianapolis couldn't win under those circumstances and all of that, and then regretted what he said. And we talked to Peyton earlier in the first half. Swanee talked to Peyton about it, and here's what he said.
Yeah, it's hard to believe, Lane. Here we are. I'm out of my third Pro Bowl. I'm about to go in and throw a touchdown to Jerry Rice. We're honoring the Hall of Fame. We're talking about our idiot kicker who got liquored up and ran his mouth off. So, hey, Al, Dan, what has the sports world come to?
Good question. 2nd and 10. Manning throwing that one away.
I'm not sure a place kicker qualifies for the sports world, though. Maybe the sports bar world.
Well, after a situation like that, Vanderjagt is one of the best kickers in the league. There's no doubt he's the guy you want to keep through the Indianapolis Colts for what he can do. It has to be a pretty interesting dynamic. And he also has a very large contract.
And you take on the coach and the quarterback?
Yeah. 3rd down and 10 from the 34-yard line. And it's into traffic and intercepted, picked off by John Lynch of the world champ Bucks at the 10-yard line.
And that's the touchdown pass that Peyton Manning was talking about, that he wanted a ball to Jerry Rice. But as Manning stepped up, he got hit, and that's why this ball on the post route. Watch Lynch right here. He's going to come over, read the fluttering ball, and pick it off at about the 5-yard line. But Manning was going to force this ball all the way into Jerry Rice to fulfill a lifelong dream. of throwing a touchdown pass to the greatest player the game has ever seen.
Still time to do it. 17 minutes left in the game. Manning figures to go much of the rest of the way, if not all.
Yeah, but will Jerry Rice want to fulfill that dream for young Peyton
in the red zone if they get there? First down from the 10. And to the outside, caught. Donald Driver out of bounds. NFC has one other quarterback, and that, of course, is Brad Johnson of the Bucs. So we'll see him before this one is done. You know, I was talking to Peyton Manning before the game. He was here the first time the Pro Bowl was ever played here in 1980 because his dad, Archie, was the quarterback on the NFC squad. And Peyton is 4 years old, and he's telling me he's on the beach, and they can't find him for 2 hours. And Archie's panicked, and they're running around looking for him, and he suddenly appears in the arms of Walter Payton, who had taken him out to play with him for 2 hours. Peyton and Peyton. Michael Bennett for a first down.
Archie led the NFC to a victory that day over a fledgling quarterback from San Diego.
Very fledgling.
There's Brad Johnson.
At the 34 now for the NFC first down with a minute to go in the third. 31-6 AFC.
Frank's right here. Watch the pass.
Yep, he's a left-hander, so he's going the right way. And it's incomplete, and then Driver, in effect, has to become a defensive back and knock it down.
Well, Bubba lining up as a halfback, did throw one touchdown pass in his only attempt this season for the Packers. There he is right here. A little pitch out here that's just thrown all the way back across the field. The key here is that he's left-handed, so the defense is not used to seeing a big old tight end lining up as a halfback and then throwing it 40 yards across the field. Ty Law nor Rod Woodson were fooled on that one.
Second and 10 from the 34. Will Levy blowing the whistle. Quickly to Melissa.
Al, Brian Urlacher playing in his third straight Pro Bowl, and Brian, of course, last year was a dream season for you guys. This year was a nightmare. Which one is the real Bears?
Well, we hope the one the year before. You know, we had a lot of injuries this year, and hopefully we get everyone healthy. This will be the same team we were 2 years ago, but we got a long way to go. We had a tough year. Just to make any plays this year, and that's what happens when you don't make plays. You lose a lot of games.
You had to play all your home games in Champaign this year, and I know you guys tried to downplay it, but I mean, how great will it be to be back in the renovated Soldier Field?
Yeah, I'm definitely excited. It's supposed to be one of the best in the league. I'm excited about that. I mean, we're going to be on our grass, and we're going to have the same columns and everything up. Just excited to get back in Chicago with our fans. You know, Champaign fans are great, but it's just nice Soldier Field fans.
Ryan, congratulations on a great season personally.
Thank you.
And now one side note for the Bears, Virginia, the daughter of George Halas and Ed McCaskey, the current team owners, they are celebrating their 60th wedding anniversary today.
Oh, happy anniversary. To the Bear family.
So you're going to miss Champaign, are you?
We'll get back to the Chicago hotels. You can get champagne anywhere anyway. And the clock ticks down to end the third quarter. End of 3. At the Pro Bowl in Honolulu, where the score is the AFC 31 and the NFC 6. And we'll come back to Hawaii after this from our ABC stations.
Red Wings, Avalanche, or other regional action. The NHL on ABC, Saturday, 3 Eastern. ABC Super Monday starts at 8/7 Central with the show critics are saying you have to watch. A cross between Indiana Jones and the X-Files. No! Veritas the Quest. Then at 9/8 Central, the show that's being hailed as TV's best drama.
I just helped kill my client.
A new practice on its new night. Then at 10/9 Central, the critics rave. It's easy to get hooked. From the people who brought you The Sixth Sense, Miracles. Veritas, the practice in miracles. ABC Super Monday starting at 8, 7 Central.
Cameron Harper, Dee Griffith, bringing you news that matters to you and your family, making it clearer. That's the all-new Eyewitness News. Watch it tonight at 10 on ABC 24.
Harold calls me every Sunday to see how I'm doing. He's a good son. But Peter calls me every day, so I like Peter better.
With Cellular South's unlimited plan, you get unlimited anytime minutes. Don't wait for nights or weekends. Get the plan that's truly unlimited. Talk as much as you want all day, every day.
Harold takes after his father. Bless his heart.
In the Cellular South, when we say unlimited, we mean unlimited.
Now get that cheer out of your system. Get all the excitement gone. You say, why? I want to be excited. Oh, because you might be kicked off right now. That's why.
Weekend Blitz, Monday on ABC 24.
Shock Radio 990. KWAM.
All right, inside the huddle. Our man Zach with the camera right down there. I tell you what, Zach could play on that line, couldn't he?
Absolutely.
Period begins. It's still down to 19 as McNair throws incomplete. Sending to Michael Bennett. And we go to the field again with Melissa.
Al, I'm joined by Elvin Bethea, who is going into the Hall of Fame. He's an 8-time Pro Bowl defensive end for the Houston Oilers. And Elvin, you waited 15 years for this. Does it make it that much sweeter?
It makes it much sweeter now because, looking back, it was a long road, but the road is I'm finally made it to my destination, and overall, it was worth it. I can now close the book on my career.
And who would you say is the person most responsible for you being here?
My old college coach, his name by the name of Hornsby Howell, and he was the guy that drove me to where I am, and I have to give him all the credit of just instilling me the right thing to do and how hard my work ethics were.
And he's going to be your presenter. And what would you say is your most memorable moment when you look back on your career?
On back on my career, I guess the fans of Houston, how they came out and when we played our playoff against Pittsburgh, and they showed up at the stadium. We lost to Pittsburgh, but they showed up at the stadium, and it was a packed stadium, like 57,000, and for a losing effort, that was the best time I ever had.
Well, congratulations. We'll see you in Canton. All right, Al, he is the only one of the 5 nominees to play his entire career in the same place, 16 years in Houston.
Congratulations to Elvin Bethea, who made the acquaintance of Dan Fouts in that P role. What did he do, just sack you and Hadel? That's it?
Well, he got myself, he got John Hadel, Kenny Anderson was in that, and Jim Plunkett. 4 of Elvin's many sacks in his career. You know, he was built more like a defensive tackle, but had the speed and agility of an outside linebacker. Great power and quickness, and well-deserving of his induction into the Hall of Fame. There goes Jim Plunkett.
Elvin Bethea. 2nd and 2 now from the 23-yard line. Travis Henry was shy of the first down. The money at stake here, the winning team, each player gets $30,000. Loser, $15,000. $15,000 difference, there it is. After tax, $8,000 maybe.
If I were the NFC, I'd start negotiating right about now. Right? The buyout deal. Get out of here.
Travis Henry. When the game is close, what we've noticed in the past, you play it at a certain pace, and then all of a sudden it kicks in at the end. But we're away from that at this particular point at 31-6.
You can see Rich Gannon, who got off to another good start, put his numbers up there where he could be considered for an MVP in this game. Tony Gonzalez with a strong afternoon. Forget about Ricky Williams as well, as you mentioned now, a couple of touchdowns, and he is out there as the personal protector on this punt.
the Jaguars, Chris Hansen. In holding up the kick, and it's Michael Lewis who can't make the catch. Out of bounds it goes with 12:43 left in regulation on a beautiful afternoon in Honolulu.
The world is complicated, but not everything's that hard. No mistake when the choice you make leads you right to your own backyard. Some folks have remembered what others have forgotten. Don't lose touch with the thing you love, because you lose an awful lot. And you know that it's right there in front of your eyes, my friend. Right there in front of your eyes. If you haven't looked it before, lately look again. Right there in front of your eyes. Right there in front of your eyes. If you haven't looked it before, lately look again. If you haven't looked it before, lately look again.
Finale of men's tennis comes to Houston this November. 9 days, 8 champions, 1 master. The Tennis Masters Cup at Westside Tennis Club. Are you in?
Nations working together, saving the environment for our future. Think environment. Think UN. It works.
You can log on to NFL.com and you can vote for the Pro Bowl player of the game. Interesting choices here. Gannon played well. Ricky Williams has played well. Gonzalez has got 5 for 98. Here's Brad Johnson coming into the game a week after he was the winning quarterback in the Super Bowl, and the pass from Marty Booker is incomplete.
Talk about a guy that persevered throughout his career and really had it pay off in a big way. Second time he's been selected to the Pro Bowl. First time as a Redskin quarterback. Of course, he was dumped in Washington for Jeff George and was forced to compete this year with Rob Johnson, brought in by John Gruden.
So McNabb, Donovan was 10 of 23 for 96 yards. So Brad throws over the middle, and that's incomplete. Intended for Marty Booker. Here's the list.
Now, Jeremy Shockey, the first rookie tight end chosen for the Pro Bowl since Keith Jackson in 1989. And Jeremy, one of the things you're certainly known for is your trash talking. So, being out here at the Pro Bowl, what's it like competing against these guys, especially all these Eagles playing with them?
You know, it wasn't bad. You know, I had a little something stirred up the other day, but, you know, for the most part, it's been all right.
You're known certainly for your intensity, for your fire. You know, some people would say a little bit too much to get you into trouble sometimes. Are you the type of guy that would ever tone it down?
You know, I don't know. When I tone it down, I think that's when I, you know, throw the towel in. But, you know, that's just how I play. That's how I always played. And, you know, that's the important part of my game, to get myself motivated. It's taking me, you know, someone to say something to me to get me going, or I had to say somebody to somebody else. So that's just how I always played.
You told me that you ate dirt when you lost the championship game in junior college. Okay, so what did you do after the 49ers lost?
You know, it's a long season. You know, we put ourselves in a hole, and everybody kept counting us out, and we fought for each other, and, you know, the coaches and the players. You know, I was real happy and pleased how we we kept fighting and just kept moving on. But, you know, it was definitely a bad taste in my mouth, and, you know, we can't look back at it, you know, of a bad call, this and that. You know, it was our fault that we put ourselves in a situation to lose.
Well, congratulations on a great season personally.
Thank you.
And Al, when we asked Andy Reid which player he thought stood out, first name, Jeremy Shockey.
Yeah, he didn't even hesitate. Timeout on the field. Well, where else is the timeout going to be called? 12 minutes left before it.
So, Vanessa, like my new phone? Sleek, huh?
Yeah, Bing, it's different.
All the latest features and big buttons.
Yeah, Bing, but don't you think it's kind of...
Did I mention big buttons?
He loves his big phone, and you'll love Radio Shack's lineup of Motorola wireless phones. Discover the Motorola phone that's right for you, like the T720 with color screen and the latest technology. And thanks from Radio Shack and Motorola to all the Pro Bowl fans for voting this year. Radio Shack, you've got questions, we've got answers.
In a roadside study, 1 in 3 reckless drivers who were tested for drugs tested positive for marijuana. It's more harmful than we all thought.
Tonight on ABC, the heat is on because the badge is back.
Drop your weapon!
It's fresh, suspenseful, and taut.
Take it easy. Shut up.
Ed O'Neill is Joe Friday.
Hold your fire!
Ethan Embry is Frank Smith, from the creator of Law & Order.
You're under arrest for murder.
The new Dragnet tonight after Alias on ABC.
Hey, I want you to know that you're standing next to the best third short rusher in the league this year. I believe it. You never got stopped. I thought about going hard camp. I didn't want to draw my own guys off. Yeah, go ahead and send me in next time.
Hey, you know, Bledsoe did rush for 2 touchdowns this year, but so did Peyton Manning.
Sure. We're talking about a 3rd and 1 play. And right now, after the timeout, it's 4th down for the NFC, down by 25, so they're going to go for it. 4th down and 7. From the 37-yard line as Johnson slings it to the outside, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Ty Law, and he runs it in for a touchdown.
Now, Ty Law has done that before here in Hawaii, Al. You remember he was co-MVP of this game because of plays just like this one. Looking in at Brad Johnson all the way. Look at those eyes. They're looking in. Stops on a dime, comes up, breaks on the ball, makes the catch, and he's gone.
When I look up in his feet, I ain't got his feet.
Great job by Ty Law with the smarts and the athletic ability combined.
Ty Law, co-player of the game 4 years ago. And the Patriots has the extra point added by another Patriot, Vinatieri. Johnson picked off, and the AFC on their way to a win. 38-6, American Conference.
Hulk t-shirt, $18. Spider-Man watch, $20. Men in Black sunglasses, $16. Hearing your dad scream like your little sister, priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. For special vacation offers, go to UniversalOrlando.com.
What in the world can you give the woman who's already taken your heart?
David, dinner and this were enough.
Go ahead, open it. Do you like it?
You might want to start with this. A K Jewelers Diamond and Natural Ruby Ensemble with a free talking puppy. And you can be assured of 2 things. First, that K Diamonds are hand-selected for exceptional beauty. And second, that she'll absolutely love it.
Every kiss begins with K.
On ABC's new Super Monday.
I just helped kill my client.
It's an all-new practice at 9/8 Central. Then, at 10/9 Central, what happened to the passengers of Flight 124? Miracles, following Veritas, The Quest, and The Practice. ABC Super Monday, starting at 8/7 Central.
The Pro Bowl is being brought to you by the Ford F-Series Super Duty with the all-new Power Stroke Diesel. Circuit City, we're with you. And Alamo, the official rental car of the American Vacation.
You know, I know we don't have a horse trailer here, Al, but we could work with this, couldn't we?
There you go. The canoe player of the game. Frank Tough getting the horse trailer across that causeway from California to Hawaii. Military's pick fielded by Michael Lewis at the 6. And Michael, who spent the last hour and a half in the locker room because he was nauseous, continues to make the AFC nauseous with that run back. Good run backs today. Speaking of the horse trailer, well, there it was. We just put the whole Tampa defense up there for their performance last week in Super Bowl 37. All the guys that helped lead to a new contract for Monty Kiffin, and the well-deserved one. Derek Brooks, Defensive Player of the Year in the National Football League. Right now, on the losing side, though, in this one, because the AFC has been dominant, 38-6. As Brad Johnson on first down throws out the flat, brought by Mike Allstott. And here is Mr. Swan.
Thank you very much, Al. I've got Rod Woodson down here, and Rod, 16 seasons, you can come in this Pro Bowl game, 2 picks, you're playing like a young man.
I can't say I'm playing like a young man, but I'm having fun. Come over here and get some sunshine and try not to think about last week and just enjoying it.
Well, let's not talk about last week, but let's talk about weeks to come. Where's Rod Woodson? Will you be back? Have the Raiders talked to you at all?
I would say 99.99% sure that I'll be back with the Raiders and give it another shot. I think we had a good opportunity. I think bring back the core players and hopefully everything will go well for us.
You know, there are a lot of players on the contract. Gannon thought there would be some contracts to be restructured. Jerry Rice is a free agent. Give us a sense of what the feeling is in your locker room in terms of what your players are willing to do to get back and put this team back together.
Well, I would hope that everybody willing to do a little something to reconstruct some things contractual-wise and put some players back in the locker room. You know, I think, you know, everybody knows the cap situation. I think we just, at times, you have to give some things up if you want to try to get a ring.
Okay. Rod, thank you very much. You know, you look all right in the Raider uniform.
It's not bad. I like the black.
Yeah,
it's my favorite color anyway, so.
No, it's not black and gold, but
black and silver.
Okay.
That's it.
All right.
The Swanee Rod had 2 picks, and while he's on the bench getting a blow, Sam Madison just picked off the 6th pass for the AFC today. That's the 7th NFC turnover. Hines Ward makes the grab here and picks up a first down. 6 interceptions, tying a Pro Bowl record.
Now, it always comes down to turnovers here in All-Star games. 7 turnovers now for the NFC.
Garcia threw 3 picks. McNabb 1, Brad Johnson 2. So the only thing left for Manning now is to throw that wished-for touchdown pass at some point to Jerry Rice. From the 46. That pass is incomplete, intended for Hines Ward.
And if anybody was thinking that there are coaches upstairs listening to us broadcast the game and maybe sending signals down to the sidelines, all the assistant coaches are on the sidelines. Nobody is up in the booth.
Right. The Titan coaching staff. Mike Heimerdinger, Chuck Cecil there on the left, Chuck George Henshaw. 2nd down and 10 from the 47-yard line. Jumping offside on the right side, the NFC drawing the flag.
And that's that hard count that Peyton Mann was talking to Drew Bledsoe about using. It worked that time.
Offside. Number 53, defense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Hugh Douglas would be the most coveted unrestricted free agent playing in the game. His contract is up. The question is, will the Eagles re-sign him at a certain price, and what the market will bear if he decides to look elsewhere?
The Eagles have proved that they can lose a player and not lose productivity on that defense.
Absolutely. Last year they let Jeremiah Trotter go. 2nd down and 5. And Ricky Williams running hard as he did early in the game. Dan, our man Jeff Bentley, our 3rd-year booth assistant, is going to get married tomorrow.
Absolutely, on the beach at Kahala.
There he is. So Jeff Bentley, poor Deb. I mean, I just want to know one thing. Will your per diem cover this marriage tomorrow?
All his buddies back at Kent State can't believe it.
Congratulations and advanced condolences to Deb. First and 10 from the 42. And that pass is caught by Eric Moles at the 36-yard line. Bobby Taylor making the tackle. Pro Bowl winding down. Next year will be the 25th anniversary of the game over here as the NFL found a home in 1980. The game had reached the point where a lot of guys just weren't showing up, but it's a pretty good carrot as you look at the players of the game here. There's my man Foxy in 1983.
John Jefferson of the Green Bay Packers that afternoon.
Here's Lorenzo Neal of the Bengals. Goes to a first. Here's Melissa again.
Al, I'm joined by Joe DeLamalure, who played for 13 seasons for the Bills and the Browns, 6-time Pro Bowl guard, and you played for some good Buffalo teams. Never won a championship, but when you look back, what was your most memorable moment?
Probably the first year when OJ went for 2003. And when I had some other memorable moments, but that in Buffalo, that was the biggest one.
And obviously, offensive linemen a lot of times don't get their due. Now you have your platform. If you look across at everybody who influenced your career, who was the most influential?
Jim Ringo. He coached me for 8 years of my 13, and he's a Hall of Famer. He's coached about 4 Hall of Famers.
We knew a big play would happen. Well, congratulations, and we'll see you in Canton.
Thank you very much.
Al, talk about durability. He said he's never missed a practice or a game from Pee-wee all the way up.
And he winds up in Canton. Congratulations to Joe as Hines Ward has just hauled in this pass for a touchdown.
Yeah, Manning gets his touchdown pass to Hines Ward and not Jerry Rice. Perfect throw right out in front of Troy Vincent. And Hines is a happy guy as he backs into the end zone. But that ball is perfectly thrown right on the face mask.
Extra point by Adam Vinatieri, making it 45-6.
Now Peyton's just got to learn to show more emotion and have more fun out there.
Monday night, Sunday afternoon. Hey, it's us. 45-6.
Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip that started from this tropic port aboard this tiny ship. The ship set from the shore of this uncharted desert isle, but Gilligan led an M life and had the Coast Guard on speed dial. The Coast Guard on speed dial. So get yourself an M life. It changes everything.
The world is complicated. Not everything's that hard. No mistake when the choice you make leads you right to your own backyard. Some folks have remembered, but others have forgotten. Don't lose touch with the thing you love, because you lose an awful lot. And you know that it's right there in front of your eyes, my friend. Right there in front of your eyes. If you haven't looked at board lately, look again. Right there in front of your eyes. Right there in front of your eyes. If you haven't looked at board lately, look again. If you haven't looked at board lately, look again.
His first week was a smash.
So how are things on ER?
And tomorrow, Jimmy hosts actor Jerry O'Connell with co-host comedian Kathy Griffin. Jimmy Kimmel Live, ABC Late Night tomorrow.
It's a new beginning for Alias. This episode bigger and wilder than anything seen before. Ethan Hawke stars on a new Alias tonight. Following the game, 9 Eastern Pacific, 8 Central and Mountain.
Got a touchdown and a new hat.
Hines Ward. from the 5. And the New Orleans Saints with another good run back up to the 40-yard line. NFL coming over here for the last 24 years. Jim Steig presenting a check to the governor. Linda Lingle is there. $100,000 in Pro Bowl grants. Players over at the Iolani Hotel. Special Olympic event was held there. Zach Thomas looking on. USS Carl Vinson docked in Pearl Harbor. Some of the players went over there to take a look at the carriers. So it's been a full week for the 86 players and the coaches who come over to the Pro Bowl. And let's see now, with 7:22 left in the fourth quarter. Johnson throwing flat. Owens to the 48-yard line.
So Al, when Terrell Owens pulled out the Sharpie,
yep,
the first thought that went through your mind was what?
It looks like he's giving the ball to a bookie.
I retract the question, Your Honor. How about this play? On an end around, he's supposed to throw this ball, turns it into a 38-yard journey into the end zone, but he's such a dominant player. Just a little bit crazy at times.
Aren't we all? I swear that is making a catch. That's what I was thinking that night. I mean, it turns out it's the business manager for Owens, and who was it, Sean Springs?
Could have been a bookie.
I don't know. I didn't want to go there that night, but hell, it's the end of the season, so we can go there today. There it was. In Seattle. Then the pose. Then the celebration in San Francisco. And never one to mince words. He told Melissa before that liking the Mariucci following, firing as Bennett takes the pass to him. You know, it's just like, you know, a player. Player comes into camp, gets cut. Coach comes in, gets fired.
That's all the business.
Yep, the business. First down at the 33-yard line. Owens said before the season one of his goals was to gain 2,000 yards. He did. He missed a couple of games with injuries. Not that he would have anyway under those circumstances. But still, great year. 13 touchdowns, 1,300 yards. Johnson throws. Caught outside by Owens. And Ty Law shoves him out of bounds at about 12. Here's 20.
Thank you, Al. Ricky, on the sideline, where you're in the ball game, the guys on the defense are saying they don't want to tackle Ricky Williams. He just runs too hard.
Yeah, I mean, I can't help it. I go full speed. I run hard every time I touch the ball. And, you know, it's great to have this kind of platform with the best players in the NFL out here and getting a chance to play football again.
You go from the Saints to Miami, and your numbers change dramatically. Part of that, obviously, the talent around you in the offensive line, but part of that, you just relaxing playing your game?
Well, yeah, I think the biggest thing was I stayed healthy. You know, in the past, injuries slowed me down and sometimes kept me out of games. So the fact that I felt good the whole year really helped.
What do you look forward to next year, getting back from Miami? What kind of season?
Well, you know, we put up big numbers last year, but we couldn't get in the playoffs, so hopefully we'll get that fixed and we'll get in the playoffs.
The pressure off you with the trade, I mean, when you went to New Orleans, there was so much about the trade, what they gave up for you. You just feel like that's a weight off your shoulders?
Well, you know, I put more pressure on myself, and for me to come out here and, you know, lead the NFL in rushing and be happy and have fun playing the game again, it's really got the monkey off my back, so I feel great.
Terrific. We look forward to seeing you. Thank you. All right, Ricky.
Ricky Williams. Second down and 10 now from the 12-yard line. 5:06 left in regulation. As if we're going to overtime. And that's caught. Touchdown, Joe Horn. Take it back.
Now Brad Johnson just looked out there and saw the corner playing so loose. He knew that he had a real good opportunity to get this ball on the quick post to Joe Horn. Look at all the room. And it's just to the post right here. It's just pitch and catch for Johnson to Horn. Good job of controlling the safety with his eyes down the field. And then Horn gets inside Sam Madison.
Good job.
Real good job.
Akers to the point after. Nice scoop up on a one-hopper, scooped up by Sauerbrunn to put it down, and it's 45-13. Melissa, what you got?
Well, Al, what we've been talking about all day, the 49ers coaching situation, and Jeff, they fire Steve Mariucci with no clear-cut plan. What's your opinion of the situation right now?
Well, it needs to get straightened out, and obviously we're putting full belief in Terry Donahue and the organization to find the right guy. No matter what the situation is right now, all I can do is be supportive and just hopefully the right decision is made, and whoever is brought in, or whether it's somebody within the staff that's promoted, we're going to support that decision.
Were you surprised when they let Mariucci go?
I think that there was definitely surprise. I was surprised, somewhat disappointed, because I think Coach Mariucci has done a great job within the organization of getting us back to respectability, and we were only moving forward. We weren't taking steps back. So I just hope whoever takes over the helm there is going to continue to keep us moving forward.
Well, what specific qualities would you like to see in a new head coach?
Well, obviously, I think they're looking at the defensive side. They maintain some of our offensive coaches. We want to maintain the same offensive system. So the defensive side is where they're emphasizing, it seems, as far as the looks go. So I think that's one place to start. Obviously, discipline, somebody with some energy, some excitement. Let's just go out there and continue to win games.
There's some talk now about a possible college head coach. Do you think NFL experience is a must?
I don't necessarily see it as a must. I think what needs to happen is obviously the guy who is placed in that position has to be organized and has to be focused upon rallying the troops and getting us prepared to win football games. Again, it's one of those things that unfortunately seems to be a little bit chaotic. Doesn't seem to be a direct path as to where we're headed, but I'm sure it'll get worked out.
Jeff, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Al, it will be very interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, and it's funny how Jeff Garcia, as we just saw an onside kick recovered here, Jeff has really become the spokesman for the 49ers.
Julian Peterson of the 49ers is going to recover this onside kick, but if you go back to when Steve Mariucci was hired by the 49ers, came out of college. 1 year at the University of California, a surprise hire at the time, so don't be surprised if the 49ers don't go back to the college ranks.
The one thing about Mariucci had been on the Green Bay staff, then had gone to college. So I wonder if if you go to a college guy, does the guy will he have had to have had NFL experience? I mean, a guy who would fit into that category is a guy who they won't touch because John York has the Notre Dame connection, and it's Scott Willingham. And that's almost picked and then pulled in by Marty Booker.
Yeah, these cornerbacks are really licking their chops now. They're seeing Ty Law get in the end zone on a similar type of play. That time it was Aaron Glenn of the Houston Texans who had 5 picks this year, and 2 he took back for his touchdown. Almost came away as he checks out the replay board up above. He's thinking touchdown right here is Marty Booker with an in and out move here. Quick reaction and response by Glenn, but not tall enough to pick it off at 5'9".
Number 5 to play, Johnson. Caught. Owens circling. And then appears to have the first down.
Fifth catch for Terrell Owens. A good choice for Brad Johnson. Owens is capable of catching that short pass and breaking a tackle and getting in the end zone.
At the 34-yard line, first down. 45-13, AFC on top. So the AFC is going to break the tie here and win for the 17th time in 33 AFC-NFC Pro Bowls. It's known as that post-merger. They used to play a Pro Bowl before the merger. NFL teams that have been in Los Angeles for years. It's a funny thing. I was talking to Dick Enberg a couple of weeks ago, and he brought up the fact I hadn't even thought about it. The Pro Bowl in the 60s was as big as the Super Bowl when the Super Bowl started. They played the first Super Bowl in the LA Coliseum in January of 67. The year before, the Pro Bowl drew about the same crowd the Super Bowl did.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Used to be the East against the West.
East against the West. Eastern Conference and the Western Conference.
And I think it's appropriate the AFC wins this game today in honor of the 5 new inductees to the Hall of Fame, all with strong AFL/AFC ties.
That's caught here by Bubba Franks, and we'll check in with Melissa.
Al, a very disappointing season for Marshall Faulk and the Rams. Marshall, you guys have played in 2 of the last 4 Super Bowls. What will it take for this team to get back there?
I think what we need is, we need to get our guys healthy, have a good off season, enjoy the time off that we had by not making the playoffs, and come back fresh and ready.
Mike Martz has declared the quarterback job open for competition for the first time since you've been with the team. Which guy do you think has the edge?
It's tough to say, I want to say Kurt because Kurt's been there, he's proven. But, I think Kurt's been in this situation before, and when you put him in adverse situations, he seemed to rise to the occasion. With him, I think it's health. He gets healthy, he plays up to par.
But how much did Mark Bolger impress you this year?
He impressed me coming in, doing what he did. But I'm always a big fan for, your first year is the easiest year. After that, when teams know who you are, coming out doing what you need to do, doing it like that, you make your mark in this league.
Marshall, enjoy the off season.
Thank you.
That's really an excellent point, though, about that first time through the league.
Yeah.
Similar to a baseball pitcher situation.
Here's Allstott again taking a shovel, as he did to get them down inside the 5. And he goes in for the touchdown.
Yeah, this is Allstott's 6th Pro Bowl, and for years some have complained that he's more tailback than fullback. Well, last week he laid to rest, and he claimed he can't block. He helped Michael Pittman rush for 124 yards against the Raiders. All told, the Bucs gained 150 yards on the ground, and you just know that when Tampa Bay got down near the end zone, that number 40 was going to get it and get in the end zone, as he did that time.
David Akers makes it 45-20.
2 minutes and 4 seconds.
Back-to-back shovel passes for the National Conference. One to the right, this one to the left. Perfect timing between Johnson and his fullback, or tailback, Mike Allstott. The idea there is to pull the defensive end or linebacker, that time Peter Boulware, totally unblocked, rushing toward the quarterback, but that leaves a huge opening for Allstott to get in the end zone.
So the next play will take us to the, most likely to the 2-minute warning as we wrap it up.
NFC just got an onside kick, so Al, this baby ain't over yet.
It ain't over yet. Don't touch that dial.
Put that clicker down.
Put it down. And Lowry, special teams coach. Well, our gang are wrapping it up. Fred Godelli and Drew Essica done such a masterful job in the truck all year. Guys up here. George Hill out of Port Angeles, Washington. Again, wrapping up a year with the numbers. And Malibu, Kelly Hayes, who is known over here as Kaka'ako Kelly Hayes. Don't even lean into it. It's a suburb. Or spotter. Non-Perel.
The greatest drug in the business.
You got it. Working with you and Keith Jackson every week.
Yep.
And that's fielded by Tony Gonzalez.
A little trickery there for David Akers, faking the onside to the side of the field with most of the players and came over to his weak side.
2:02 left in the season.
Okay, remember, we're just checking out prices.
So no matter what they say, we're not buying yet.
Right. What's running through your veins?
Ice water.
Right. Can't face it.
So with Circuit City's Price Match Plus, you're covered on price.
We'll take it.
Go ahead. Take it. If you find a lower price within 30 days of purchase, we'll give you back 110% of the price difference. Circuit City. We're with you.
Nice game face.
You didn't even see it coming.
Give me a backpack.
is something unique and exciting. Hot wings. They're crispy, with a sizzling blast of spicy flavor that'll turn up the heat at any shindig.
Hot and crispy outside, tender inside. Hot wings only from KFC. For limited time, get 8 for only $2.99 or 20 for just $7.49.
I smell hot wings. That's breaking the ice at parties.
Yay! George Lopez is back Wednesday. But he's in trouble with his wife.
I wanted to make you breakfast in bed, but you accidentally locked the door and put the dresser in front of it.
ABC Wednesday.
I heard those noises in the hotel last night.
1:49 to go, Al.
1:47 right now.
You got to put everything you got into some of those throws.
Absolutely. Who called this timeout? The NFC called the timeout. All right.
That ought to be a penalty for delay of life.
Yep. Special thanks, as always, to our Director of Information, one Steve Hurt, who makes sure that we have no misinformation.
And the key here for the NFC is they have one timeout remaining now.
Second down and 7. As Lorenzo Neal takes the ball to the 36-yard line. And will the NFC use its final timeout? They will.
Well, let's talk about Lorenzo Neal then. You know, he had 9 carries all year. He's had 3 this afternoon. Bad day for NFC quarterbacks. Jason Taylor gets the start with that pick off Jeff Garcia. Then it's Zach Thomas as the Dolphins roll. Now it's Rod Woodson. That's the 3rd one for Garcia. That pick off there was an NFC one. Here's Ty Law going all the way for the touchdown. And then Brad Johnson will get picked off by Sam Madison. And having thrown my share of interceptions in this ball game, I love watching those picks.
Well, the AFC guys on their way to collecting a $30,000 pre-tax check as Manning throws to the end zone and he wants to hit his man Jerry Rice, but instead he settles for Eric Moulds.
And I think that was a response to the NFC calling those 2 timeouts. You're going to call timeouts, we're going to put 6 more on you. Unfortunately, Moulds dropped the ball in the back of the end zone.
In the gloaming.
Bobby Taylor will remember this somewhere down the road. But he did get a right hand in there to knock the ball loose.
So he breaks it up, and it's now 4th down for the AFC at the 36-yard line. Williams. And he takes it to the 32-yard line. And it is a 1st down. So he picks up the 1st down, and now they can run out the clock. And they can breathe a sigh of relief in the entertainment division. Because coming up next is an all-new Alias and the premiere of Dragnet, which will begin on time. Except on the West Coast, where you'll see it at its regularly scheduled time. Right here on ABC. Dano, it's been great, man.
Albino, you've got my number.
Yeah, I do have your number.
You know I love to fly.
That's right. Area code not known to nature, but I do have your number. Sisters, Oregon.
A great pleasure to be back with you and this great crew. Fantastic.
Terrific, man. Great job. So this one is wrapping up in Honolulu, where the AFC dominates the lead from start to finish.
And they went for the 17th time in 33 AFC, NFC Pro Bowls as they knock off the National Conference. Final score is 45-20. And we will be back to wrap it up from Hawaii right after this.
I am Emmitt Smith. I'm Emmitt Smith. I'm Emmitt Smith.
I am Emmitt
Smith. I am Emmitt Smith. No, really, I am.
Worried that the you shopping online isn't really you? That's why there's Verified by Visa, a security service that helps protect Visa cards from unauthorized online use with a personal password. This service is only available on select Visa cards issued by participating financial institutions.
I am Emmitt Smith.
Please! To learn more and to check if your card is eligible for this service, go to visa.com/verified.
You killed me.
What?
There was a bomb. I was going to school.
What did that have to do with me?
You brought drugs. You gave the money. They can't do things like that without money. It's the money.
Hold your breath. Next, it's an alias that's bigger and wilder than anything you've seen before. Ethan Hawke guest stars.
He will kill you. Oh!
It's a new beginning for Alias. Then, The Badge is back with the premiere of Dragnet, following Alias, all starting ABC tonight.
Ricky Williams is the Pro Bowl player of the game, and Ricky had those numbers offensively. He also played on special teams and had a forced fumble as well, and he gets a Cadillac for being so chosen as the player of the game. So for Ricky Williams, it's the culmination of a terrific season. The New Orleans Saint for 3 years, and then they traded him to Miami, where he led the league in rushing. Jerry Rice walking off the field, and the way it sounded in his interview with Lynn Swann, I'd say there's a 95% chance he'll be back next year. Peyton Manning made headlines today with his response to the criticism from the kicker Mike Vanderjagt earlier in the week. And the guys have, as usual, had a great time over here, getting to know one another a little bit better. And for the AFC, a 45-20 victory. So it's been a great day looking at the stars, talking to the Hall of Famers who will be inducted and enshrined when we next visit with you from Canton. As this one is over from Honolulu. Coming up next, except on the West Coast, will be an all-new Alias and the premiere of Dragnet. Al Michaels with Dan Fouts, Melissa Stark, and Lynn Swann saying aloha from Honolulu.